Hello,
Pew 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 pew.
Well podcast. I'm your host, Liz, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Marcus.
It's me.
Howdy. Howdy ho, Ranger Joe.
I just want to give a
That was
little.
a...
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say that was quite a lot. Quite a lot happened. From matches that I was just like, to matches where we quite literally were not talking because, like, what the fuck was happening?
I just want to give a little to the moon for the fact that Cameron Grimes was not there.
I was like, yeah. Sad news for you.
Yeah. So I think we should talk about our predictions first. Lead off with that since we have the new stipulation that we now have to finish the number of cans for the amount of predictions we got wrong through the entire podcast.
We're drinking them all at once, right?
I mean, if you want.
So, sadly, Elizabeth, as I expected, I did not plan on this being my most successful pay-per-view in the world. Slightly more successful than SummerSlam was, so I give myself credit for that. However, not my most successful one. I got 3 wrong. You know, sad news bears, but I died trying. Interestingly enough, so as one can see, making 3 visits tonight, all of different flavors. I wanted the antioxidants. And I just think, while you also got 3 wrong,
I could have won.
you really had every opportunity to fucking win. But Mark has a big damn mouth and said, what if I mess this up for myself?
So this will be the only prediction we specifically go into until we talk about the actual matches. But I predicted that Cameron Grimes will show up at some point during the show, and in my head I was like, okay, so he'll probably come up in a flashback. So I'll just say that. I'll just say that's an appearance because I did say if he comes on the screen at any point that counts, but I didn't want to win like that today.
Cameron Grimes might have.
Yeah. So we both have 3 incorrect predictions. So we have no winner. We have no loser. Unless you guys want us to do rock, paper, scissors and decide a winner that way. We'll see if the chat says anything about that, but until then, we'll just consider it a tie this time. What we did say would happen if we had a winner or a loser was the winner would pick the punishment for the loser. And I had something good in mind that I was going to do, but I guess I can't do it now.
I don't know what it was now.
I don't want to say. I don't want to say until... Because, like, if we end up doing rock, paper, scissors, and I win, I want it to be a surprise.
There we go. That's what I was hovering around. Sorry. All right, well.
Well, so yeah. We both have to finish 3 cans of seltzer before the podcast is over. Maybe we could do it to where if somebody can't, then there's a punishment. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something right now.
You don't want to put yourself up against that with me. You know who I am. You're not going to win that fight.
Then, shall we cheers to the start of the podcast?
Cheers to the start of the podcast and our first missed win.
Oh yeah, but
just
a damn good.
That all down my front.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count as drinking it.
You want to go get another one to take a quick sip of that?
Yeah.
All right, let me. For some reason, and this always seems to happen, I just can't get like the spacing right. Today, you can't tell from where you are, but today there's all this space here. This is towering over me right now. I don't know why I can never get the spacing right, but normally it's about like this much space between the top buckle and the middle buckle. Today it's like a foot, and I'm like, all right. It's never been this tall before. I feel sort of like I'm being loomed over, and I know this is about to fall. Shit.
What?
Here.
What happened? Oh no. Are you missing the yellow and?
Damn.
Oh, Elizabeth.
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just like when we thought Tony Storm was the mystery guest.
Whoa! Spoilers for anyone who didn't watch it and who cares.
Just like, thought she was. She wasn't actually. Now I do need tape though, so that's gonna.
I think.
So sports. You like them?
I'm just gonna stay silent as you just go through this. I want everyone to just sit in this awkwardness with you as you search for a piece of tape.
Oh, Christ.
Poor Tegan Knox for ACL while doing rehab. Yeah. DG Games said that. Yeah, poor Tegan Knox.
Dude, I thought that they were just kind of fucking around a little bit, like, oh, Candice attacked her and she's injured again. But, like, she actually got injured, and, like, she was still coming back from the other injury, so I'm just sitting here like, damn, stretch. I don't know.
My favorite thing, though, is that she changed her Instagram picture to being her face photoshopped onto Michael Scott with his foot wrapped in bubble wrap after burning it on the George Foreman grill.
Oh my god. That's out of there. Let's just shift me over because I look fucking bizarre tonight.
Chaos ensues.
I'm having a very good night, in case you were wondering. Okay. First match.
Glad you're so determined to keep that like a physical sign rather than just text we put up on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I the one that's in charge of what's on the screen?
I have brought this up many times, and you said you want to keep it a physical sign. If you want it as text on the screen, fine, we can make it that.
We'll talk. We'll talk in the post-production meeting.
I feel like her knees are going to be held up by paper clips and rubber bands at this rate. Absolutely. Somehow that knee brace is just going to be rusted. Just like never going away.
She's the paper skin and glass bones guy from SpongeBob.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry. But at least she's got a good attitude about it.
Yeah, and she's got her puppy.
Oh yeah, little baby. Okay, I'm just gonna get into the match while I fix this.
We love being prepared.
We are prepared. It's just there we go. Things are back to normal. I'm not being loomed over. It was stressing me out. It was too tall. I'm not even drunk yet. That's the worst part of this. All right. Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. The longest lead-in to a match that we've ever had.
Hello, whatever is cool. Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast, the wrestling post-show.
You've already missed an entire mess, so lucky you.
You missed over all the chaos.
We're only about 10 minutes in, right? I don't know.
And if you're just tuning in, we have to each finish 3 seltzers before the end of the show because that's how many predictions we got wrong.
I feel like this is going to be worse when like an actual pay-per-view happens and like I've gotten 5 wrong. Because I finished 3 seltzers on the show before.
Yeah.
It's just competitive. I'm also not drinking a cocktail this time, so I thought I'd stay safe. All right. Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. Yeehaw, cowboy.
Oh yeah.
I was coming around to Damian. I really was.
Can I just say, about this takeover in general, there wasn't a single bad fight today. Not a single bad one. Some outcomes weren't so great, but in general, there were amazing matches.
I disagree for one particular match. Not this one. So
I feel like I know what one you're talking about. And yeah, whatever is cool, we will try and provide a little backstory for each of the matches as much as possible. We just don't want to divert too much away from what happened today.
oh yeah, well, there's context. Speaking of context, though, so basically, Johnny's kind of been going after Damian, I think, for a while now, just because he needs something. He wants something. As far as the title's concerned, he's been knocked out of the NXT Championship running for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
A couple weeks now, I think, and tried to get the title from Keith, the North American, a while ago, and now he's doing his best. He's doing his best. And I mean, I didn't expect Damian to win. I didn't expect Damian to lose tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just want Johnny to kind of get what he wants.
Right. And yeah, when I made the prediction for Johnny, yeah, we should also say that we both predicted Johnny for this. But Damian ended up winning. I thought they were going to kind of go down the route of, although Candice and Johnny may not have both won their title matches, Johnny at least did, so they're both still happy.
And I mean, this makes me nervous now, though.
I don't think so. After what Johnny did during Candice's fight,
I guess that's true, but that was without giving that away. Well, actually, I guess there's no way I can not give that fight away without talking about this.
Right.
I'll hold off. I just think that I don't know. The one nice thing is about NXT that I like over other things like Raw and SmackDown is that it feels like we get, hey, this guy wants his title, and then they fight like once, and then they fight at the takeover or something like that.
Yeah.
We're between, and then it's not like this long drawn out like Seth and Ray thing where it's like it's been 5 goddamn months and it's never ending.
And I think some storylines in WWE have gotten better about that, like Roman and Jay, or even Randy and Drew to an extent, because before their match, I think it was at SummerSlam or something, or Payback, they hadn't really had matches prior to that. They've just been kicking each other in other matches. Same with Keith and Drew. So yeah, they're definitely getting better. And I feel like NXT has always been great at pacing out their storylines, so we're not just watching the same matches 15 episodes in a row.
Yeah. And even with like Rhea and Io, there's some like vague return to that storyline occasionally.
Yeah.
But not in the way that it's like Rhea and Io are fighting today, and now they're fighting in this tag match with like against each other and like all this shit. It's like, no, they're doing their other shit. We haven't forgotten, but like they're doing other things on the side.
But
I mean, I don't think Johnny's been going after Damian for a while now. I think it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I don't think we haven't seen this matchup since we started watching. We've only really seen it at the 5-man ladder match?
Like large matches.
Yeah. But you know
Like,
what? This match makes me think. At the draft, we might see Johnny called up to the main roster.
well, I mean, Triple H still doesn't know if they're participating in it.
No, it's been confirmed that they are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell me news that I've already read, and then you don't tell me this one?
It's been like hidden in like other articles, or like the live Q&A that he did, that Triple H did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Johnny's a good candidate. This is a good candidate.
Mhm.
And would be, but only if Finn had lost the title tonight.
I feel like you could only call up Johnny if you call up Candice too.
Yeah, I don't see them. But actually, I don't think they would because Candice still is Tegan, unless they call up Tegan later.
Tegan,
And she can come back and be like,
I think she's out. What was that?
do you think she's like she's broken forever?
I think she's Xavier Woods out. Like, they can't plan storylines for her right now until like maybe a year down the road. Because this is an injury on top of an existing injury.
All right. Anywho, into the match.
Mhm.
So yeah, and also I think let's get into the match while I say one other fucking thing. I think also the nice thing that we're also spoiled with, and that's why I had some problems with the Swerve Santos fight, is that we've seen that fight 41 times now. Because we haven't seen the Damian Johnny fight, I'm like, yay, weird stuff is happening. This is strange.
Yeah, like we haven't seen that. We haven't seen Io versus Candice. We especially haven't seen Finn versus Kyle.
And that it appeared.
Yeah.
And as much as I make fun of William Regal and his stupid goddamn gauntlets and like elimination matches and shit like that, it kind of benefits us because we get to see a bunch of people fighting each other without fighting the person.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually going to get into the match. So Johnny starts off moving way faster than Priest could ever keep up with. He starts kind of clubbing Damian. He jumps over Priest as he throws himself into the corner. Spinning heel kick, then murders Gargano on the spot, knocks him down. Johnny's trying to get his shit together, but he gets a right hook to the jaw, and a kick, and is sent to the corner and punched around for a little bit. Johnny counters a move, and Priest sets up for the reckoning, but Gargano avoids it. Priest sends a flying elbow to Johnny's jaw, and then he gets up to the top rope. Johnny slips him off, sends a knee to his face. Gargano tries to suplex him off the apron, but Priest hangs on for dear fucking life. Johnny manages to, however, wrench him off the apron to the floor, spine first. Always just makes me feel like, no, don't like it. Gargano then dives out of the ring onto Priest into the cage wire, because one thing we didn't touch on in everything else that we've touched on, now moved from Full Sail officially after 8 years of being at Full Sail. NXT is now at the Performance Center, but it's actually the Capitol Wrestling Center. I get it wrong every time.
Wrestling Center.
So stupid. With the most bizarre fucking logo that you'll ever see.
It's like an NXT inside of a CWC.
Yeah. We're just in case you didn't know what the two things are. But it's basically, if you watch the fights in the Performance Center, it's basically the Performance Center plus the X from the last takeover in the middle of at the top of the ramp. And instead of just barricade plexiglass, it's barricade plexiglass barbed wire. Not barbed wire.
Not
yeah, barbed wire.
Chain link fence.
Chain link fence. Which is silly.
Also, they need to start having masks in the people watching.
Straight up, first lingering shot we get as Johnny walks out and kind of faces the crowd is one asshole without a mask on. I'm like, y'all are on top of each other in there. Y'all are on top of each other.
There were at least 5 people in that audience without masks on. And the audience isn't that big, so 5 is a sizable number.
What did you say about 5 people? They released?
No, there were at least 5 people without masks on.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, and that was just from the one angle that we saw.
Yeah.
You know, the primary front-on angle. So
I think the
it's fine.
opposite side, which was like open, because there was a portion that didn't have the chain link fence or the plexiglass. I think that's where like they're
Just had
yeah, it's just Shotzi. But I think that's actually where they stick their talent, like the NXT wrestlers who want to watch.
makes sense.
Yeah, so they're not on camera, and they're separated from the fans who may or may not have masks on.
It was so ridiculous. It was like 5 dude bros, especially, just like in the middle, just slamming their hands against the plexiglass. And I was like, oh boy. Anyways, it's like y'all have like 25 people in the fucking crowd. You can't get security to just be like, hey, put your fucking mask on and not on your goddamn chin. Anyway, back to the match. Priest then tries to follow Gargano into the ring, but Gargano stops him at the ropes and punches him, drop kicks him in the chest. Off the middle turnbuckle, jumps onto Priest, who's still kind of like hanging in the ropes, and cannonball into Priest's upper back. He gets an ankle lock on Damian, and Damian finally kicks Gargano off, sending him free from the rope. Gargano into the corner. Johnny pushes him away with a leg and attempts a tornado DDT, but Priest avoids it and then ends up kicking Johnny right in the sternum, right in the meaty part. Manages the flatliner finally, gets a flying elbow into Johnny. Johnny looks like he doesn't really know where he is. I think he had like flashbacks to his Ridge Holland match. He just was like kind of out of it. Priest manages the broken arrow to Gargano, who still somehow kicks out. I'm pretty sure it's just rigor mortis setting in at that point because Johnny definitely looked like he was fade and fast. Gargano rolls Priest over and goes for a kick, but Priest grabs him, slams him into the mat, goes for the razor's edge, but Johnny Hurricane Rana's the fucking giant of a man. And near fall. It's a near fall. I also wouldn't have called it a kick out because Priest really just kind of flailed his arms around while his shoulders stayed firmly against the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fair. Drake was not on top of his game today. Johnny then kind of just belly flops onto Priest's leg for a little while. They're exchanging blows. He gets an enziguri to Priest, but Priest kicks Johnny. Forearms. It's weird because Priest sends his forearms to Johnny, who looked like he was setting up to kick Damian, but then just stopped and went like sideways. Like, oh, I forgot that we were supposed to be doing this now.
Yeah.
Then dodges another spinning heel from Priest, the one that knocked him on his ass right in the beginning. And then sends him into the post and over the ropes. Gargano dives out of the ring and is caught by the neck. Priest goes for Sounds of Heaven, but Johnny is raised a little too high and he jumps up onto the apron like a little scamp. Priest then takes Johnny's legs out, manages his razor's edge, sending Gargano spine first into the side of the apron. Johnny then takes Priest's injured knee out and goes to run up on Priest, but he gets clotheslined to high heavens. Priest somehow like finds like an extra wind within him after really looking tired as shit. Fucking thriving for the whole goddamn thing. He goes for the reckoning, but I thought Welcome to the Ball Pit was like the funniest name for a move. But the standing sliced bread has to take the cake.
Yeah. I don't even understand like what it is, but the name definitely seems accurate to like how it's performed.
Yeah, it is one of those things where like you can look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, sure. It's cool as shit. It's also the first time after watching however many Johnny fights now, that's the first time I've ever heard that. So he then mocks Damian and is caught up just a little bit. Priest attacks him, but Johnny still rolls through. Another near fall for Gargano. Gargano gets caught again. Just to kick Damian in the head. He kind of thinks he's got a shot there, but Priest slams him back first into the canvas. Gets up onto the top rope. Gargano rolls away and just kind of looks like he's taking like a little break. Like he's about to leave. He's about to go home. Gets annoyed, goes to dive out of the ring. Gargano takes 2 security members, throws them in his way, and saves himself. Priest land on these security members. While the referee is checking on the security detail, Johnny kicks Damian Priest in the balls from behind, kicks him in the jaw. Somehow Damian Priest is still fucking alive. Gargano gets the Gargano escape hold cinched in. Priest still manages to grab the fucking rope because he's 7 foot tall. And sometimes you can just reach things when you're that tall. Johnny is kind of looking like he wants to send Priest into the stairs edge, but after running at him with a couple of punches, gets his energy back. He tries to suplex Johnny. Johnny doesn't move. Priest kicks Johnny in the face to get him away. Johnny super kicks him twice, and then Priest finally pulls off the reckoning. The match is fucking over. I'll take the loss. This lasted for so fucking long. And I really wanted Johnny to win because it really looked like he was going to.
Yeah. But I guess it shows how great they did, because at no point did it look like there was a clear winner the whole time.
I mean, and that's how a lot of NXT matches seem to be, which is another thing that we really like, I think, about them, is that I'm never sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, he's doing really well right now, which means that he's gonna get like punched in the fucking face, fall flat on his back, the other guy's gonna do really well, and then that guy's gonna win, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's clear time beats in Raw and SmackDown where you kind of know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I never really seem to have that problem with NXT.
Yeah. So Damian retained North American title. And something we'll notice today is it's just an entire night of retaining titles. Not a single title's lost. Which I don't remember if you mentioned on the podcast or before, but with it being such a small amount of matches, you wish like something like that would happen where a title would be lost.
Yeah, we talked about this while we were watching it, I think. You do kind of hope that like there's gonna be hi. You do kind of hope that there's gonna be something kind of like crazy to upset the balance, but
right.
You know, for the type of matches that we got, I'm not too upset, I guess. And the fact that I very much can like edit my memory to think that someone gave up their title tonight
Mm-hmm.
with the way that these matches went.
But then after that, we had.
Here, by the way.
I could tell. I didn't think you were just talking to the air, or the sleep paralysis demon.
Well, to be fair,
He is a sleep paralysis demon. But after that, we have 4 question marks versus Kushida, who, for those of you tuning in who have never watched the show nor wrestling before, quadruple question mark is goes by the name Velveteen Dream, and he's an awful person who allegedly solicited nudes from minors. Even after getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, and Triple H still just kind of stands by him and said, "Oh, Dream's had a really tough year," and I was like, "Well, really, when I have a tough year, I just try not to ask children for nudes to work out really well for me on a daily basis. Actually, it makes my life significantly easier. There's no drama." Anyways, so Kushida's had this long-standing feud with Velveteen. And we didn't see too much of it for a little while because Dream was out for a while. Whether it be because of injury or because of nefariousness.
A rough year.
Yeah. a rough year. He was out for a rough year. But tonight, after the last couple, there have been a couple of attacks on Velveteen by Kushida. He kind of just came out of nowhere for a couple of different matches. And nothing too substantial either. It was just Kushida would come out at the end of like Velveteen's match and just be like, all right, just come in slugging. So tonight was, I believe, like kind of the beginning of Kushida's official push as like a force in NXT.
Yeah, which is good.
Because they've been sitting on him for about a year and a half now, I think.
Yeah. The weirdest part about this match isn't even the match itself. It's how Dream was dressed. Because Kushida is dressed like Marty McFly. That's his whole thing. He was a time traveler, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Velveteen was dressed like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. And the unsettling thing about that is that Doc Brown likes to hang out with high schoolers.
Also, he didn't really look that much like the costume didn't really look that much like it, because once he took the lab coat off, which I guess you're not going to keep a lab coat on for the entire fucking match. I get that. Kushida, halfway through the match, you're not going to look at Kushida and be like, oh, he's dressed like Marty McFly.
Except for the shoes.
Yeah, but he spray painted, or wash out, shampoo out, hair colored Dream's hair gray. And I don't think that they did the best job of blocking his forehead from it, because as he walked out, you could see that his whole forehead was like silvery. So it kind of just looked like Charlie Day from the episode of Always Sunny where he's huffing silver spray paint.
Hell yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of. Also, he was wearing for a long time like these yellow like hazmat gloves, which Doc Brown has never worn. So I was just sitting there and I was like, half the match was Mark and myself just being like, what?
He also came in with goggles too.
Yeah, I guess that's like the supposed to be the signature. It's Doc Brown and not Rick from Rick and Morty, unless Morty's the scientist. I've never watched it.
No, Morty is the kid. The Marty McFly equivalent.
Oh. Alright, well, anyways. Just how much I fucking watch that show.
I don't watch it either.
I feel like we've been to Comic-Con enough that I probably should know now. Anyways. And so we both chose Kushida because we have a moral high ground to do so, and also we're not insane.
And we're also smart enough to know who would win this fight, logically. And it also helps that we heard beforehand that they were going to end a long-lasting feud at Takeover, and the only one that was long-lasting here is Kushida versus Dream.
To be fair to us, we did not see that before we made these predictions.
Right. We saw it before Takeover started.
Which we made predictions of on our SmackDown show. We did. We gave ourselves time to regret our decisions. So Kushida doesn't even bother waiting for a walkout. He just kind of to the wall, comes out swinging. Dream looks fucking ridiculous for the first of this match, because Kushida attacks him and Dream finally manages to like free himself from the ring, and he is just flailing. Somebody has like attached electrodes to him or something. He's like going all over the place with his goddamn arms, grabs a chair, can't hold on to the chair, basically like, lets it go, picks it back up, flings it over the ring, and I would understand if maybe he was like a Kramer-esque type of gimmick or something like that, where he's just like uncoordinated and shit like that. But that's never been Dream's thing.
That gave me flashbacks to actually earlier today. I watched because of where the chair was going, I thought it was going to hit the crowd. I watched Kevin Owens or Shane McMahon, which just was on a WWE YouTube channel. I think it was on SmackDown, and Shane pulls out a ladder from under the ring, slams Kevin's back with it, and just kind of tosses it to the side, almost hits the heads of several audience members. Like, they have to back up from the top of the ladder coming into the crowd. That reminded me of that.
Reminds me of that Vine. This is why mom doesn't fucking like you. Anyways. So yeah, Kushida comes out swinging. Dream looks like he's lost all control of his spinal cord and his motor skills. He gets back in. They're grappling. It's really messy because, again, Dream is just flailing. Kushida then just fucking destroys Dream's arms. And this is not the first time in this match that he'll do this, but he wrenches them so far back that it's like, how are you not actually injuring him? He slaps Velveteen across the face and then kind of does like a little Randy Orton, Dexter Lumis type slither, which I really respected. Because if there was one person I wanted to see and would not make a bet on, it was Dexter Lumis. But of course, I don't get to be happy.
Also, real quick, breaking news. Apparently Triple H says Kyle O'Reilly is being evaluated right now for injury, and Finn Balor is getting an X-ray on his jaw. Yeah, so...
Adam alive?
Adam just had fake injuries.
Poor Kyle. Kyle's getting evaluated. Finn's getting a jaw X-ray, and they both have to sit there being like, "Oh, Adam's dead." They have to waste an extra 5 minutes to be like, "What's happening here?" Anyways, so I guess that wasn't a blood packet in Finn's mouth.
Oh, okay. So I take back what I said about the draft. Apparently, because there's a whole thread by Sean Ross Sapp. Apparently, Triple H or NXT being involved in the draft is still unconfirmed.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Despite it being talked about, it's still unconfirmed. Triple H doesn't know, apparently.
Yeah, no, that was a piece of news that I gave like 2 episodes ago, where I said so many articles where it's like Triple H speaks out about the draft, and it's literally just Triple H says, "I don't know what's happening there."
And apparently Triple H said that they had to make a lot of chicken salad for today. Instead of talking about, all the injuries that happened and Ember Moon coming back, just they had to make a lot of chicken salad.
What does that mean?
For the audience members. Probably just talking about how much they had to prepare for today, because they're on a media call right now. Triple H is talking to the press about today.
Okay. Anyways, we can talk about that later. I don't care about chicken salad right now. So, in chasing each other around the ring, Kushida stops dead and then kicks Dream in the midsection. Kushida then pulls off a violent forward arm drag to Dream, just sending him face first in the ground. He looks like he's like off the shits. He enziguris Dream in the face, and then this massive submission hold on Velveteen. This was like, I think, the worst one that we saw, where he was just leaning Dream's shoulders towards like his fucking spine. Looked painful. I don't feel bad, but looked painful.
Everything Kushida did looked insanely painful today.
So Dream then goes off the top rope, axe handling Kushida in the top of the neck. Kushida gets slammed into the cage wire the second time we will see this, because, hey, if you didn't know, there's cage wire on the fucking plexiglass, and they really goddamn want you to know that. Dream then gets Kushida back into the ring, does a double axe handle to Kushida's spine, and uppercuts him in the jaw. And now Kushida's slumped in the corner, and Dream normally somebody would do double knees to like somebody's chest or their face by jumping up on the corner ropes and in. He goes crotch first, then just kind of humps Kushida's neck for a while.
Mm-hmm. Which was the fact that he's been doing this whole humping thing since the accusations came out.
I mean, he did it before, but he also has been doing it still, in spite, and
it's like he knows he's not going to get fired. Unfortunately, DG Games, yes, we do have to say it's a rumor, allegedly, but the fact that somebody on Reddit did a little experiment and tried to message Dream personally, saying they're 17 or 16 even, maybe younger, and he still tried to solicit nudes from him, not photoshopped or anything either. Very detailed screenshots.
let me just say this. For the sake of us, just in case, because who knows, we have to say it's a rumor. But look at my eyes, look into my eyes when I say this, and I mean it with my whole fucking heart. It ain't no goddamn rumor.
I just want to give...
I'll say that with my fucking chest, I don't care.
I just want to give one for the entire show, just to cover everything, all of our bases. Allegedly. That covers us.
No. As much as it pains me, DG, to say that it's just a rumor, sometimes we gotta fucking watch our backs. Which, 3 seltzers in, we're gonna see where we are. I'll say whatever. It's never stopped me before. Anyways, so after Dream does the totally normal thing of humping Kushida's neck, as we've all been known to do once or twice. I mean, come on. You ever been, sometimes, you're just there. Kushida then kicks Dream in the chest, and then starts punching the shit out of Dream. Handsprings off the ropes into a sleeper hold. Basically, he handsprings off Dream's arm, just comes around his neck, and I'm like, oh no, Kushida. Then they start exchanging blows once Kushida powers out. Kushida spears the shit out of Dream into an arm drag, cartwheels, and then goes right into a drop kick. The mental power, the control over your muscles that has to have, because, sorry, you spear someone, get them down into an arm drag, that's your arms, you come up, you cartwheel, arms and legs, core as well, then you just drop kick someone, like, Kushida's unnatural. It's not human.
And it's not just like this is a one-off takeover performance. No, he's been like this consistently since the Cruiserweight tournament happened. He's been popping off.
He wasn't super amazing, in my opinion, during the Cruiserweight tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this Kushida's, like, fucking blood.
Yeah.
Dude straight up said, I'm tired. I'm so goddamn tired. And you know what? He's doing us all a favor. He's doing exactly what I want to see happen to Dream. And if Triple H refuses to take Dream out of his fucking company, which I assume he will never do because he just got Austin Theory too, so, like, seems like he's making a bit of a stable for himself. The praise on high schooler stable has a ring to it. Just like that, we've been seeing Dream getting absolutely buried by Kushida. And we've been seeing Austin Theory getting choked the fuck out until his face turns purple. Weirdly cathartic for me.
And we're probably going to see Dexter Lumis come back to choke out Dream.
He deserves it.
Also, I just want to quickly say... that Reddit is like... Reddit's normally the place where they will stand for the innocent till proven guilty shit. But they are vehemently against Dream, like to the point where it's hilarious. Every single thread that involves Dream, or every single post, for example, this comment says, Kushida is what QAnon thinks they are, going out there and beating up pedos. That finish was heavy, now take his arm home with you, Kushida. Let's see. Doc Brown would be proud. Kushida just wrote Dream off. It's great.
It was a really awesome match, especially if you're the sound mind to say Dream definitely the creep.
Also, I do want to say, separating things right here.
I don't like
Dream's like his finisher. I don't know the name of it.
Dream Valley Driver or the Purple Rainmaker?
The Dream Valley Driver. That move is so cool.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, anyone can perform it, but still, it looks really cool.
Not impressed.
Alright, so do you want to move on to the next match?
No, I don't, because we aren't done.
Oh, there's more? Oh.
We're only halfway through this match.
I thought we finished. Oh, God.
No, you just went off, and I just sat here calmly.
Sorry.
Yeah. So Kush.
Kush. Hey, my boy Kush.
I normally, people might know, for people who watched this before, and especially Mark, I abbreviate a lot of people's names in my notes. And normally I'm really good about like reading past it, like overwriting in my brain when I read it. But I abbreviate him to Kush.
Hey, Kush! You did a good job, Kush!
It's easier than writing out all of Kushida. But my brain just stopped. Just short-circuited on that one. I forgot where I fucking was for a second. Jesus. Anyways, Kushida uppercuts Dream and gets his shoulders back again and begins stomping the top of his spine. He rolls him over, gets his arms out in front of him, and then stomps his face for a little bit. He pulls Dream into the steel post, does it a second time, then slams the edge of the steel steps into Velveteen Dream's wrist. And I said, oh my God. Dream is in some severe pain. He super kicks Kushida, goes for the Purple Rainmaker with the injured arm out. Like it's an elbow drop off the top rope. But he got two elbows from what I can tell. And he chooses the elbow with the wrist that just got smashed in the stairs. He pulls it off, but he gets pulled right into an armbar by Kushida. Finally, he manages to slither away. Manages to get a thumb into Kushida's eye before doing that. Distracts Kushida so Dream can pull off a spinebuster. Tries to cover. Kushida has not been hindered at all. Brings him right back into an armbar while biting his fingers. And I said, Kushida, there's a pandemic. You don't know where those have been. Maybe you don't.
And also, how is that legal?
Definitely isn't. Definitely isn't. That ref just said, I don't see shit. I don't see a goddamn thing. 1, 2. So, there's a Dream Valley Driver to Kushida. Dream gets back up to the top ropes. Does another Purple Rainmaker with the same injured elbow. Kushida grabs the arm because he's not fucking stupid. Except he is. He gets pulled into a clothesline by Dream. So, kind of sucks. But Dream goes up for the Rainmaker again, a third time. Same arm, injured still. Kushida meets him up there, then superplexes him into an arm sub. Just superplex grabs that arm and says, time is an illusion. I had this the entire fucking way down. Dream nearly gets to the ropes, so Kushida rolls him away. Kushida's then picked up by Dream, who goes for another Dream Valley Driver. Manages it. But again, Kushida does not let go of the fucking arm. And finally, Dream just taps. And you'd think that's where it ends, but it's not. Because Kushida gets back into the ring 3 separate times to obliterate Dream's life. And I said,
My boy. My boy.
doing me proud. Good job, Kushida. Like, I said to Mark while we were watching it, you know, if we're keeping Dream in, we have no other options here besides, you know, firing him, which is the normal option, but because it's Triple H, not firing him.
Mia Yim liked a tweet that said, Kushida put on them FUBU jeans and said, "This is my block."
But yeah, I mean, if we're stuck with Velveteen Dream, I'll take this match. I'll take this match over and over and over again until Dream doesn't have a fucking arm.
It seems like a lot of the stars in NXT don't like Dream, like are unhappy with NXT's decision about Dream as well. Like Mia Yim, I think. What was that?
Actually, that was not intentional, but I was just gonna say that they know if they were to do the same shit that he did, they'd probably get fired.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up.
Like
also, there's no reason he should not be fired.
I know Mia Yim, based on that, and I think she's tweeted about it before. I think Rhea Ripley as well. I don't want to say I know for sure. This is all just based
Conjecture.
on. Yeah, I want to say Dakota Kai as well, but that's even more of a reach for me than Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be involved in that. I mean, one of the first matches that he had after coming back, like, slowly thrusted on whoever the fuck he was fighting in that moment. And, like, did some lewd shit to the referee where I was just sitting there, I was like, this is your first stream back after not being around because there was a ton of drama surrounding your fucking name. And you do that?
mm-hmm.
I mean, alright, if that's the plan. You know, you wanna just hop on over? Hop on? Gonna bop it?
Bop it?
Yeah.
What?
Swerve versus Santos?
Yeah, sure. Oh, wait, at what point was the announcement made for an NXT special coming up?
Probably sometime around here. I didn't take a note on that, but
I didn't either.
You're more than right to probably talk about it now if you want to.
So they announced for NXT there will be on October 28th a special Halloween Havoc happening at NXT. I believe it's happened on the main brands in the past, but now it's happening on NXT, which I think is a perfect place for it. And they're having Shotzi Blackheart host it. Also, somebody posted this, which if you can't tell, that's Shotzi standing on top of Robert Stone.
Also, perfect time for Dexter Lumis to fucking come back and start fighting again.
Yeah. And maybe special appearances on NXT from some main roster people. Like, for example, maybe The Fiend or Aleister Black or Elizabeth.
Yeah! Fight Corey Graves.
He's not on NXT.
He's on the main roster, though, technically, in theory.
In Austin Theory?
I've already had an upset stomach once tonight. Please don't start again. Also, just want to note, finished my first seltzer. Moving on.
I've already finished mine.
Okay, big man. Let's have headaches. But Swerve versus Santos. Hey, Mark, who'd you choose?
I picked Isaiah Swerve Scott. Because I thought, this is the first time the Cruiserweight Championship is being defended on TakeOver. There's got to be a reason for that. No, turns out there isn't.
No reason. Absolutely no reason. They said that stays on 205 Live, you silly, silly bitch.
But also Swerve is on 205 Live, so if he won, it would still be on 205 Live.
Yep. They made a whole fucking deal about, like, first time the Cruiserweight Championship's been defended on an NXT, or at a TakeOver. Like, alright. Give me something to show for it, please. I have to watch another fucking Swerve Scott, Santos Escobar fucking fight, dude. I'm gonna break. It's gonna be over for me.
Also, real quick. Sorry. Another bit of news from the Triple H's call with media. He said...
Is this CNN breaking news app all of a sudden?
Huh?
Is this the CNN breaking news app all of a sudden? I've never heard this much news coming out of WWE in my entire fucking life in one night.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Is Kyle O'Reilly gone?
No, this isn't about either of them. Triple H was asked about Capital being more permanent for WWE, and he said the intent is for Raw and SmackDown to remain separate. If they move from Amway, they'd move to a larger building. For NXT, they're still partnered with Full Sail, and the CWC needs a residency. So that would be like...
What?
So they're going to stay in the Capital Wrestling Center, I think, until they're technically still partnered with Full Sail, but because of the COVID outbreak, they need to stay at the CWC.
I guess that's fair.
And Triple H says they're also taking every precaution they can to keep things going. Says CDC keeps changing protocols and they need to change with it. Florida has opened up, but they're still taking all precautions, except forcing people to wear masks,
What precaution are you fucking taking? You're not taking the most important precaution. What? God damn it, Triple H. I love Triple H so fucking much. And, like, in my core, I do. But on the surface, my God, there's 40 inches of me just fucking hating the man. I feel like CM Punk. Just sit down at the top of the fucking ramp and just pull off a fucking pipe bomb and just go off for a couple minutes. Anyways.
Or Santos.
Yeah, and just a quick note. It may have antioxidants. I can't get behind her. Sorry.
What's the alcohol percentage of that?
5.
I want to compare.
5.
Okay.
It's 4.5.
Yours is 4.5?
No, is yours 4.5?
No, it's 5.
Oh.
So it's the same.
White Claw 4.5.
Wow.
Okay.
This is more alcoholic than White Claw?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Oh, no. That's also 5 because it's also sweet. Bon and Vive is 4.5 at 90 calories. But the 5%, it's either, if you want low calorie, you got to go low alcohol. If you want higher alcohol, you got to go higher calorie. It's sad. It's sad that I know this much about hard seltzer. Okay, now we're moving on. All right, so we both chose Swerve. Sad news for all. Just wanted an escape. I just wanted some freedom here.
I wanted a
and
little...
the first 5 seconds of the match were pleasant.
I wanted an exciting moment where title is transferred.
I think the thing is that there's... Again, we were just saying it's nice because there's not as many like obvious beats in NXT. And that helps to pay attention because you're not like expecting things to end at a point and then something else starts, it's a little more blended, which is fun to watch because like you're engaged. If there was ever a fight that needed some fucking beats, it was this one.
I think the fight itself, like you put it on any regular episode of NXT, it would be amazing. It would be our fight of the night. But when you put it on TakeOver, and you have it against all these amazing fights. Like legit, every fight was fantastic today. Even the Dream Kushida fight, although it ended with a no sell from Kushida, where he took the Dream Valley driver and just immediately got up. He no sold that. It was still an amazing fight. Swerve versus Santos.
It's my favorite.
They started off with it being high flying, high momentum right off the bat. Even the Kyle Finn fight didn't start like that. The Damian Johnny fight didn't start like that. It was kind of a progressive build because you use up your high flying moves right away. You start with your excitement and you can only go down from there. Especially if you don't have the story elements to keep it interesting, keep the beats there.
Yeah. It definitely felt like we started at the climax and then we were at the ending of the fight for 5 years.
Yeah.
It could have been done so much better, and I think if they had spread out everything that they did in that beginning, it would have been perfect. But they ruined the beginning too, just by, and I'll get into this in like the next 5 seconds, but they ruined the beginning for me entirely. In that we first started off with an arm drag to Swerve and a flying head scissors, which looked really cool. Just not in me for this first 3 minutes.
Sorry.
But we started off with the arm drag, flying head scissors to Swerve. One of the best head scissors that we've seen, I think, in a couple weeks, just across brands. Swerve, however, lands on his feet. Then Swerve does a flying head scissors to Santos. And I was like, oh, I get it, huh? You're doing the same moves. Cool. Santos then takes Swerve's legs out. Swerve takes Santos's out. And then they do a weird fucking pose where they're both like pointing at each other like, oh shit. Like the Spider-Man meme, basically. Like Spider-Man?
It was so clearly orchestrated. But also, can we quickly just mention Santos's walkout gear?
So I would like to do it in a tasteful way where it's like I'm not judging the dude for using his culture because like
right.
Cool. But also his whole thing was saying like I don't want to be like the stereotypical lucha libre wrestler, which I guess maybe it does make sense. Maybe it does make sense because he came out in the sombrero and like the mask and then he took it off. So maybe there is some writing to that.
I mean, if you're going to have it kind of be symbolic, having it being used as like a tool to beat Swerve the first time. Remember that when there was like the piece of metal or something in the mask?
Oh yeah.
That was symbolic. It was subtle. It was very well done. Now it's just like, okay, you're just coming out in the mask. You're coming out in a sombrero as well. It's not your gimmick.
I definitely had problems with it when we first saw it, and I made that very clear to you. But I guess also, though, for me at least, looking back on it, I kind of get it. I think I kind of understand it. And I could be totally wrong. But it sort of just felt like him synopsis. Bridging. Like, you know what a synopsis is? I'm trying to think of the verbiage of that.
Summarizing?
Summarizing! Whoa! Oh, all right. Checked out there for a second. But it basically kind of felt like him summarizing his story of how he got there. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, just the act of like removing all that. I guess like there is an argument for that being poetic in a way.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I'm going to go with that because I'm going to shit on him for some other stuff later.
Okay.
So I'll let him have this one. And then the stuff that I do understand, I'm going to shit on him for. Let's jump back in, y'all. All right, so yeah, so they do the fucking pose, and it's like, you know, if you just didn't do that, like, if you guys just, like, had, like, both kind of, like, lifted yourselves up to, like, look at each other like, holy shit, wait, he's in my head, basically. Fine. The pose, too much. Far too much.
Especially since Santos got up, did it, and then like 2 seconds later, Swerve got up and then did it again. Like, it wasn't even in sync.
It was so stupid, and it's like this like little added thing that, with or without, we could have gotten through the match, no problem. We didn't need it. It was stupid, and that's what Swerve tends to fall back on as like something that always bothers us, which is just this stupid shit that makes him look like this ridiculous goddamn fool. When we've seen him, like the Johnny and Swerve fight still sticks in the back of my head because it was such an amazing fight, and Swerve looked good, and Swerve was good. He didn't just look amazing, he was amazing. There is no reason for him to look the way he does fighting Santos. There's no reason for it. Tony Nese his ass. Did I cut out?
No.
Okay. You are occasionally lagging for me a little bit, like voice-wise. So
okay.
That's why. I try to say yeah at the end of your words when I hear them, so that way at least maybe it makes sense. But anyways, so Swerve then sends.
You got it.
You know how hard it is for me to take notes when like their names are about the same length, and it's Swerve and Santos, and I really can't find any way to abbreviate that shit.
Just say Scott or Isaiah.
ISS. Full suspension. Swerve then sends Santos out of the ring. This was a cool move because his back was to like the ropes on the inside of the ring. Santos went to fly at him, and Swerve lifted him up with his feet and sent him out, which was kind of interesting. It looked very like delicate. This sends Santos pretty much into the announce desk. He cannonballs off the apron onto him, then dives out onto him. Just like gets back up on the apron, dives off. Manages a submission hold onto Santos. He launches Santos across the ring once they're back inside, then gets him into an armbar until Santos reaches just outside the ring and starts kicking with his little feetsies on the apron so that the ref knows. Then Santos drapes Swerve against the ropes, choking him out of it. Dives out of the ring into Swerve, sending him into the chain link. Hey, count that. That's a third fucking time. In case you forgot, there's chain link on the fucking plexiglass. I don't want anyone to forget that there's definitely chain link.
But now this means nobody can drive somebody through the barrier.
Sad news. Sad news for all.
We're probably gonna get people trying to climb it though.
Into that group of fans with no masks on?
Yeah.
I think not.
Have Dream do it.
Okay. This was around the time that I kind of almost start. It's hard for me because I want to take notes because I'm the one summarizing. God damn it!
There you go.
Summarizing. Because I'm the one summarizing the matches, so I feel obligated to take the notes and pay attention. But there are some matches where it's like, oh boy, I really just don't care anymore. And I wanted to care so badly because the beginning was so cool because we were sitting there and we were like, holy fuck. And then I was like starting to lose my focus and I was trying not to. Anyways, though. So Santos gets a Frankensteiner off on Swerve. It's very cool. I love the Frankensteiner. We don't get to see it very often. Hoping we see it more, considering Halloween is coming around. It's a bit gimmicky, but I will take it. Swerve doesn't look like he has any idea where the fuck he is anymore. He starts clubbing Santos's sides and then clotheslines him. And there's an uppercut to Swerve and then a flying European uppercut to Santos's back while Santos is sitting in the ring. I don't get it. I watched it happen. I heard Vic call it a European uppercut. I've seen a European uppercut. I've seen Cesaro do it in multiple fashions. Didn't really understand this one. Don't really know how you can uppercut somebody while flying butt first into them. It's fine. There's then a kick to the face of Santos. Rolling Thunder flatliner to the man, and then Swerve is starting to get a little scared because Santos is not dying, as one, I guess, would hope when you're fighting Santos. And at this point, Swerve's pretty much done the most he possibly could do. It's a DDT off on Santos, but Santos is still fighting. Joaquin and Felix come out to do absolutely nothing but stand on the ropes and heckle, annoy the ref. It does distract Swerve, but NXT has gone like full anti-SmackDown, anti-Raw in that people distract or people interfere, and it doesn't mean shit.
Which is the best fucking thing that you could do.
And yet somehow today it actually annoyed me. Not with this in particular.
Mm-hmm.
It annoyed me.
Like it's fine to have a distraction. It's a beat in a fight. That's great. That's what this fight needed. But just don't have it impact.
I think my problem now is that I'm so used to it like with Bayley and Sasha. I'm so used to like distraction happening and then like Sasha wins, and I mean we're never gonna get that anymore, but still. I'm so used to that. But now like I see this shit happen, I'm like, well, that should end the match right there. And it doesn't. I'm like, what? Anyways. Joaquin and Felix come out. They just kind of hang out for a bit. They do distract Swerve. They give Santos the upper hand. He manages a shoulder breaker. Usually it's in my first few notes that I fuck up the line. We've gotten to 3 fights, so. He pulls off a shoulder breaker on Swerve, but Swerve still kicks out. The distraction is not enough. Santos then runs at Swerve, and Swerve hoists him up and helps him land balls first on the rope. That's when you really hope that somebody's wearing a fucking cup. I don't know what it's like, but my God. Then there's a flying head scissors to Santos, sending him into Felix and Joaquin, a la Swerve. It always stresses me out when people do head scissors on the apron, but this was a very successful one, even though it did look like Swerve may have landed on his whole ass after doing it. So we were both sitting there and we were like, is Swerve actually injured maybe after doing his own fucking move? And then, in weird enough shit that must happen on NXT TakeOver, Ashante Viadanis comes out. I don't really know why. He had like a semi enhancement talent fight with Dream a couple weeks ago. But he comes out. This is some 205 Live shit. I know he's on 205 Live, so I guess like maybe that's why. He comes out to help.
I was gonna add. I think he's like one of their bigger wrestlers, aside from Oni and Danny Santos. He seems to be one of their mainstays there.
Well, they also just trademarked his name, so I'm wondering if we're gonna see more of him on NXT.
Maybe,
especially after this.
Yeah.
The match against Velveteen was like all Ashante, and then Dream got like one kick in and killed Ashante. So. But he comes out to help take care of Joaquin and Felix. Swerve helps out a little bit, then we're back at the match. There's a super kick to Swerve's jaw. It sounded and looked just fucking nasty. Santos pulls off the Phantom Driver, which is usually his finisher, and it's usually his successful finisher, but Swerve still somehow kicks out. So now Santos is also just as scared as Swerve was because, oh my God, Santos is watching somebody come back from the fucking dead. There's a suplex to Swerve, 3 of them. Which I suppose, as Beth Phoenix said, was a tribute to Eddie Guerrero's 3 Amigos. Because he did 3 of them, as you might have guessed. So after suplexing Swerve 3 fucking times, he goes for the frog splash, but it doesn't connect. Swerve rolls out of the way, which I believe either Vic or Wade Barrett said well, that's not something that would happen to Eddie Guerrero. And I was like, okay, guys, Jesus.
Well, somebody said something reminded them of Eddie Guerrero.
But yeah, that's what I just said. Is that the 3 suplexes is
Oh,
and
yes.
it's a move that Eddie used to do. The 3
I think Wade said that.
Well, Beth was talking about too. I don't know. I only remember Beth's voice nine times out of 10. And I heard her say Eddie Guerrero, and I was like, yes, I will talk about this later. Swerve then just fucking Montez Fords his ass, gets that second fucking wind out of nowhere, snaps Santos's elbow. I said, dear Christ, that looked horrifying. Please never do that again. And then house call kick to Santos's face and a 450 off the middle rope. Santos is just dead weight at this point. And then Santos kicks Swerve backwards into the exposed steel of the buckle, which basically just one of Swerve's little dreadlocks knocked into it, but Swerve acted like he had been brained. And then a double underhook ends in a knee to Swerve's chest, and Santos retains.
The one...
Swerve definitely hit his head, though.
Oh, yeah. But this is the one title I was hoping we would see transfer.
It made sense if it did.
Yeah. Because every other one I get not transferring. Like, Damian just got it. EO... It's not the right... Candice isn't the right person to transfer to. Who else has a title? Finn also just got it again. So, this was the one. This was the one. But no, Triple H loves his heel title holders.
He's a little bitch boy.
What? Okay, well, after that comment, do you want to move on to the next fight?
I want to officially announce my candidacy to fight Triple H, actually.
Okay.
This is my new running mate. Corey Graves this last month. I will still fight him, but now it's Triple H. I've decided. Thank you.
Also,
you don't think I could do it? You don't think I'm scrappy enough?
I think you could easily break out of a pedigree.
Right? I can kick. I can kick and claw. I got little nails.
You've got core strength.
I do. I've got a lot of core strength. But also I have horrible scoliosis. So if you ever... I don't know if you've ever noticed this. I noticed this ever since I started working from home. I always sit with my head kind of cocked. Because sitting like this or like straight up feels weird. I always end up like this. And I realized it's just because my spine is fucking curved. And I was like, oh! This isn't just me getting my ankles, baby. This is just me. I got a fucked up back.
Aww.
I didn't notice until I was like, I don't like sitting with my head straight up. And then I was like, oh, Elizabeth. Anyway.
Also, can I just say, in regards to NXT TakeOver, I don't think pandemic era... I don't think anything's going to be as iconic as In Your House. That shit was fantastic. Because you had...
Will we ever see Charlotte?
Huh?
Will we ever see Charlotte again?
Don't do that to me. I miss her so much. But, like, nothing beats, like, that house set that they had. That was great. And then was it the backlot brawl or something? The street fight, whatever it was.
With Dexter Loomis just slithering.
And then stuffing Undisputed Era in the back of a car. Or Roddy. Also, DG Game says, just kick Triple H in the dick. Always works. There you go. There you go.
All right, I've got my intel, so I'm ready for the next. Halloween Havoc. Catch me. I'll get on a flight just for that.
He just decides to wear a cup this time.
But you gotta catch him when he's not fucking expecting.
Oh, so assault him.
No! I can't get him when I do it. It's an assault.
All right. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, I guess.
Also, with this next fight between Candice and Io, I just want to say I fucking love Candice's gear tonight. The
Oh, 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 oh,
Are you gonna make
oh.
this into a thing? You gonna make this a bit?
Yeah, yeah, I am. Continue. I'm interested to see how you found out.
Also, real quick, DG Game said, if he has a cup, use the most devastating move in sport entertainment, the roll-up. It's such good shit. Just roll him up.
You know, fine. He's tall, but like I grew up in a family of tall people. I might be small, but I'll
There you go.
get in there.
Yeah, just do the... Johnny loves fighting tall guys, so just take after Johnny.
Dude, I'm like fucking Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
I'm scrappy. I'm annoying. We're probably the same height. Guarantee you. After we cut down the build height, we're probably the same fucking height. So.
Also, I finished 2. I'm on to my 3rd.
Please, the Vizzies are so hard to get through.
Oh, Bud Light. It's so easy.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have to take a pee break. I'm going to. You're gonna have to riff for like 5 seconds.
That's fine. I am feeling a little drunk though. But anyway, so Candice's gear. She came out in like a trench coat, and I was like, she's probably hiding some badass gear underneath there. She takes it off as Io's coming out, and I see it's just like orange and green. I'm like, that's pretty lame. Like, why were you wearing the trench coat for the first time? And then Liz pointed out. Oh no! Before she pointed that out, I saw on Twitter or Instagram that Candice posted a picture of her and Johnny with showing off their gear, and she said, "May the Force be with us." And I was like, "What Star Wars character is she dressed as?" Because I know she is a big fan of Star Wars. Her and Johnny are. Turns out she's thanks to Liz's observation, she's dressed as Ahsoka Tano, which is like not a mainstream character to be dressed as. It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. To be fair, I've watched the old Star Wars. I have not watched any Anakin Star Wars.
She hasn't watched the prequels.
Right. I've only watched the sequels, right?
You've watched the original trilogy, the sequels, and we're still getting through the Clone Wars.
Right. If I hadn't seen the Clone Wars, I would not have fucking known what the hell I was talking about. And in addition to that, I said, "Oh, isn't she dressed as the person with the things?" The things? And you said, "Well, what?" And I was like, "The things, the antlers, the horns. I don't know, the fleshy things."
The fleshy things.
Well, ever since I like found out that they were actually like fleshy, I was like,
yeah.
Because I thought that Ahsoka was really pretty, even before I knew what the fuck she was. And then I saw like a semi-live action version of it. I was like,
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't like that so much. All right, so we're gonna get through this match. I'm gonna take a pee break. Mark's gonna riff while I pee, and then I'll be back. So let's get through this. You planning your riff?
Yeah.
That's not how a riff works.
That's okay.
So Io handsprings away from Candice, drop kicks her, and Candice is looking a little sad, kind of like, hey, I thought I was going into this with a little more fire than that. Io gets a submission hold on Candice, but she kind of powers out. Candice then springboards off the ropes and sends Io off the apron into the barricade, nearly hitting her head on the chain link fence. Again, in case you forgot, there's chain link fence now. I just want everyone to remember just one more time. Because they wouldn't let us fucking forget, so I'm not letting you forget. Io then 619s Candice in the face from the apron, and then moonsaults off the middle rope to Candice. And basically, so when I say Candice springboards off the rope, she basically moonsaulted. Not to say basically 40 times in one sentence, but this was a really well done version of, and I think it was Wade Barrett who mentioned this, like, oh, anything you can do, I can do better. This was a good way to do that. Because I didn't look at it like that. I didn't see that. I was like, oh, we're moonsaulting. Fine. You guys both do moonsaults occasionally in your, or Io does a lot of them. Candice does them sometimes. So that makes sense. It was not shoved down my throat like Swerve and Santos.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed Wade Barrett to say, oh, hey. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then we moved on. There was no posing. I just want the women to get more respect. Actually, they get so much respect.
It's definitely the era of women's wrestling right now. Or at least we're getting there for the main roster. We are there for NXT.
NXT is above and beyond what we need to be seeing for women's wrestling.
Mm.
Just the constant inclusion, the varying types of women in NXT, and the fact that so many of the women in NXT get to have like these like very like rough, like jagged kind of personalities. It's like,
yeah, and everything's not just like panties and bikinis. Like Ember Moon, for example, she was kind of like the first woman that kind of started the whole breaking out from that, dressing in like the craziest stuff. Now you have people like Rhea Ripley or Shotzi, Bailey, who just dress in crazy stuff. Becky Lynch, she's one of the bigger ones too.
Can I make a point?
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any super girly besides Aaliyah, who even Aaliyah dresses differently from the super girly wrestlers on the main roster. I don't think there's any super girly people on NXT.
Yeah.
Not to say that's a bad thing. I don't want to say that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that we see so much of that already, like this like version of a wrestler that's still stuck in the Divas era. We never see that shit on NXT, and it drives me not crazy. Well, it drives me crazy, but in a good way.
You kind of have You kind of have Candice, who is kind of that girliness, but she has a dark side. She's
the poison.
Yeah. That is very much her gimmick. She's not a Bella twin. I think of the Bella twins as like the prime example of that era of wrestling. As much as I love them, they're still like they're still that era. You have Aaliyah, whose whole character is kind of being that like the model, you know, like the one to be represented by an agent.
Also the fact that we have Rhea Ripley, who was on the pre-show, or not pre-show, but the Facebook Live interview, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and was in boots that were tall enough, because she's a tall bitch anyway, tall enough to look Triple H square in the fucking eyes. I was like,
and then, like, when she was walking away, Triple H just yelled, "And take off the boots. You're as tall as me."
That is the shit that I crave on Raw. And I don't want to see Rhea moving right now. I don't need that. I need her on NXT. But I think Chelsea Green was one of the last people that we saw that was still kind of Divas era-y.
Mm-hmm.
And I get the vibe that Toni Storm's coming back like that. But one way or the other, dude, I say this, I think, every time we talk about NXT, every time we talk about a women's fight. I feel, as a woman, as your standard woman, when I watch Raw and SmackDown, I'm like, especially now that Sonya's not around, and it's like, and Becky's not around either. It's like, it's either super light and cute, or it's Shayna, which I love Shayna.
Well,
and that's not to say that I don't love Lana or anything like that, but like, I miss that. I like seeing people that I look at and I'm like, me?
I disagree. I mean, I can't really say I disagree, but you also have like the Baileys, you have Asuka, you have Zelina to an extent.
Okay, so Bailey and Zelina are heels.
Mhm.
right? Asuka isn't quite a heel, but Asuka's a little rough around the edges. And again, Asuka's gimmick is so much more ostentatious, I guess, in a way,
Yeah.
that it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I see it, like as a person, and not
And
like as like a performer.
sorry.
I like that I get to see women who are these like jagged, like crazy motherfuckers, like Rhea and Shotzi, and even Mia, who aren't heels. Like they
Yeah.
get to be like real people and good people. It's not like, oh, you're pretty and you're cute, you're a face. And you're scary and you're dark, like Nia and Shayna, and you're a heel.
Yeah.
It's no, you're a lady, and you either act like a bitch or you act nice.
You also have Liv and Ruby.
Yeah. Fair.
But also, DG Games mentioned a Carmella push, and I think bringing back Carmella, at least how she was prior to her leaving, she's kind of a step back in my opinion.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like, again, we're not gonna know. We're not gonna know
Yeah.
until see Carmella again. Um, like Charlotte Flair, for example. Charlotte is very generic, not generically, but like very obviously a very attractive woman. And she dresses in like basic wrestler's gear. She's powerful as shit, and that is the only time that they've had that since Becky left. Because Charlotte left shortly thereafter. And I don't even know if we're getting Becky back. But no offense to Carmella. As much as I hated her original gimmick, because as a person who grew up in the grand state of New York, there's nothing I'd like to get behind less than the Staten Island princess. Whatsoever. I don't like Staten Island. But that said, I'm worried about her push only because her promos, like the mystery woman promos especially,
Mm-hmm.
were so disjointed, and like I still don't get it. Like I get like, okay, so you're Glamazon now, that's cool. And you got this Polaroid camera. I don't get it's like,
Yeah.
so you're the Staten Island princess that moved to Manhattan. Like
DG Games mentioned if anyone reads comics, is kind of hoping for Carmella to be like Emma Frost, which that would because I read comics. I don't know, Liz, if you know Emma Frost. She's in movie. She's in NXT. But she's very much like a Charlotte Flair. This very powerful, beautiful woman who is both powerful and beautiful, but I kind of what?
take this picture to the grave. Goodbye. Farewell. See you later.
Okay.
Dude, Beth Phoenix could have been this shit. Putting that one out there.
Oh yeah, no. But
Vibe on that
she's very much Charlotte Flair. And I kind of was hoping for that vibe with Carmella. Or at least when they were showing the original vignettes, I was hoping it was Charlotte because it very much fit Charlotte's gimmick. Carmella coming back with what they're showing so far, it just seems so backwards, you know?
if Carmella comes out and she's like, all right, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm a fucking amazing wrestler, and I'm going to show you right now, while also being very glamorous. I'll say, okay, sure. I'm sitting back. If she comes out and like, if I see one, oh, you pulled my hair, or oh, my ring fell off, or I broke a nail, or some shit like that. If they write her character to be prissy in the way that it kind of looks like they've been promoting her, and I could be reading that wrong, and I am a cynic when it comes to women's wrestlers because I've been disappointed and sort of offended on several levels multiple times. Just by, Lacey Evans trying to tie Naomi's hair around a rope once. But whatever. If they push her like that, I'm going to be annoyed. If they push her to be like a glamorous woman who's also a goddamn savage in the fucking ring, Sure.
She
I'll
could
take it.
either she could come out like a Becky Lynch, or she could come out like a Lana. No offense to Lana, I actually love where they're putting her storyline with Natalia. But
Better.
absolutely. But Lana is not the future of women's wrestling.
Or she shouldn't be.
Right.
I think that the people that should be the future of women's wrestling, as far as everything is concerned, assuming, and this being said, assuming Becky Lynch does come back after having her kid, I think the people that should be the future are people like Becky, people like Asuka, people even like
Shotzi.
Rhea or Shotzi, because I don't want to. I don't want to see any more Divas era shit. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry to Mickey James. I'm sorry to Natty, and I'm sorry to Lana and all those bitches.
I think the biggest thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was just gonna say that it's not intentional. I know, especially on their parts. But it offends me to the deepest part of my core, where it's like, because I see people like Nikki, where it's like, she's just written off as this crazy bitch that flies around the ring and like can't hold her emotions. And I'm like, so you gave me the crazy bitch that I wanted. You gave me the person that's like motivated by chaos, basically. And you're telling me she can't control her emotions in the ring, and that's why she fucking loses all the time.
Yeah, I just think having like these Diva era wrestlers, like to the basics, is just not setting like reasonable examples to people watching. Like, you don't want all of your wrestlers to be Diva era's wrestlers and just be like, okay, haha, this is what we think of women. this is what it takes to be in the WWE. But if you have all these different personalities like how NXT has, you're opening up to a lot more positivity when it comes to viewing oneself.
Especially because like Alexa Bliss like used to be like this like very pretty girl who was also a fucking bitch, and that never flew, so she had to go back to just being like really nice and kind of a little catty every once in a while.
But now she's
And
getting
it's like,
dreads. Well,
it's like karaoke SmackDown all over again.
let's be honest. It's a great story where they're pushing it right now.
That's all
Especially,
right. Should we keep talking about NXT though? I'm sorry.
yeah, we're almost 2 hours in already, so let's keep going.
I just want to say quickly to DG Games and to anyone that's actually like stuck, or anyone who's stuck through for like at least like the last hour and a half or more. Thank you. We aren't normally this sidetracked, but now Mark's actually drinking on the podcast as opposed to just me, so no one's reining us in.
I mean, let's be honest. It's been a great conversation we've been having. It's better than just like the track kind of motion we've had in the podcast.
And unfortunately, the thing is that I could go on for a really long time about this, and I was really willing to let shit fly with wrestling as far as like the women were concerned, and maybe more so than I should have been as a lady, but also maybe I shouldn't be obligated to feel annoyed by it. But the moment SmackDown karaoke happened, that was when I gave up. I gave up right there. I was
Like after Evolution, and all the steps since then, WWE has taken like 10 steps forward in terms of women in wrestling. Karaoke took them 5 steps back. That was embarrassing.
it was the most offensive shit I've ever had to sit through. And, you know, I mean, that's not saying much as a white middle lady. I don't have to sit much offensive shit. And that's my privilege.
Mm-hmm.
But sitting through that really just fucking like, that took me out. And if you ever want to, if anyone wants to go back and listen to more of this, I did rant about it for at least, I think, 3 weeks after. So it just like, you know, I have always really enjoyed wrestling. It's always been like one of those things where it's like, I like sports, and I kind of saw women doing the sport, and I was like, oh shit, I can't get that in my normal MLB game. So like, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that shit, and I was like, okay. And after that, it was like, anytime I have to see some shit where it's like, you underutilized a woman in wrestling once more, I'm tired. NXT has luckily never done that to me. At this point, I have not sat through a single NXT match where I was like, okay. Because I still get the same fucking assaults that I get on, like, Cameron Grimes to Damian Priest or vice versa.
Yeah.
That I get with, like, Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. And I'm like,
think about...
we're fighting!
Think about the feuds between individual women and individual men on NXT. Like, Tegan and Candice. And then Tegan and Dakota. Io and Rhea. It's very much equal between the men and women regarding feuds and storylines. It's not like one gets priority over the other. Right. Although maybe I don't know.
I mean, I think the thing that like always throws me a little bit is like a lot of the women's drama is you like hurt my feelings or something, or you did this thing that like kind of took my spotlight. And a lot of the men's drama in the main roster is like, I don't like how you do things. I'm fighting for justice and shit like that. And I'm like, real quick before you jump in. One thing I've always liked about the women's feuds is that it's like, you were my really good friend. You were my best friend and you fucked me over. And we're getting, you know, in the same way that like we're I guess what I'm saying is like that drama is like something that makes sense to me where I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. You're pissed at her because y'all were close. She, like, for Io and Rhea, like, Rhea stepped in during Io's match to, like, defend Io because she thought she was doing the right thing. And Io was like, no, I'm strong enough to hold my fucking own. And then she got the goddamn title.
Yeah.
It was not 6 months of her needing Rhea to step in until she got fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
And that is, like, and the fact that Candice's storyline has the most room for error, where she said, all of my friends fucking stabbed me in the back, one after another. And my husband was there for me. And that was it. That's all I had. That could be spun into, like, I was dependent on this man. But even then, it's like, no, Candice starts her own fucking fights. Candice ends her own fucking fights. And yeah, maybe there was a Johnny appearance tonight, but, like, that didn't mean shit.
I want to credit all that. I don't know if this is the right place to credit it, but I love this man a lot. So I'm going to say I want to credit all that to William Regal for for creating all this storyline. Maybe Sean too. Triple H maybe.
Triple H doesn't get it. No, you don't.
But I just want to end this conversation on a positive note, and say that where they're taking the Bayley Sasha storyline right now is to unprecedented levels in women's wrestling, and I am so excited that we're getting so much payoff that is handled so carefully in SmackDown. It's especially what
as of lately, like as far as like women's drama has been. And I feel like when Charlotte comes back, because Charlotte's whole thing when like she saw Bayley and Sasha, she was like, "Hey, Sasha. No offense to this woman over here. You don't need her. Yeah. You can do whatever you want without her. She's holding you back." So when Charlotte comes back, I better get a payoff there. I better get a goddamn payoff. Anyways.
Yes, back to the fight.
I did say after this I was going to go pee, and now I'm just like, the kidney infection is settling in. Okay, so where we last left off, I'll quickly get in through. Right, so where we last left off, Candice had moonsaulted off the rope, Ian moonsaulted off the rope. It was like, oh, I get it, you guys can do the same things, but like this was done in a more subtle way, and I don't hate it. Crazy how that works. Thank you. Io then sends both knees into LeRae's shoulder. Candice manages a backstabber on Io, wrenching her off the ropes, spine first into Candice's knees. It wasn't just like a standing and like Candice fell backwards into like her knees, like into Io's spine. Io was on the fucking ropes, and she said, "No." There's a crossface to Io, and then Candice lariats her. A cartwheel neckbreaker to Io, and then she rolls her up. It doesn't work. Candice gets an arm sub on Io Shirai and then stomps her in the back as she slowly gets up. She carries her down into a backbreaker. It was really kind of funny because like Io was really close to the ropes. At that point, Candice picked her up and then brought her to the middle of the ring and dropped her on her leg. And I was like, Candice. Always planning. Then Io slaps Candice, and Candice is like, okay. Didn't love that. Also liked that we got 2 bitch slaps tonight, and one was between 2 men and one was between 2 women. It wasn't just one woman slapping a person. You got to see that in men and women.
Slapping's good shit.
A good bitch slap out of nowhere. Chef's kiss.
Sometimes you just need to be slapped real hard.
The Alexa Bliss run up and slap, however.
Worst move in all of women's wrestling.
Sorry. I twitched my hand and got hard seltzer all over myself.
Oh, gosh.
So then slaps Candice, and Candice doesn't like that very much. She slams her into the corner and starts punching her into the buckle. Again, another thing that I really like in women's wrestling is when somebody does something that's like a little like, oh, okay. Like a slap is not that much. And then the other person's just like, you what now? And just fucking goes off. Candice then begins launching Io Shirai all around the fucking ring, which, for a small little thing, that's a lot of fucking power. Candice gets a front face lock into a suplex. I messed up that entire fucking line.
Doing great.
Candice has a front face lock on Io, pulls that into a suplex. She then dodges Io. She's looking for the senton, but she stomps Io's back in the process of it. And Io moves sort of like a little ball under somebody's foot and sends Candice down into the canvas, which sounds the same. She then stomps as a double foot stomp to Candice's midsection. Shoulder tackles her twice, and then spikes her into the canvas, finishing it off with a normal 619. The first one was like she was on the bottom ropes and she pulled herself around that first time. This was a regular one, or like she actually went through the ropes. She then does her missile drop kick to Candice, where I kind of thought it was over actually, but Candice kicks out. Io tries for the face buster, but Candice will not come up off the canvas. She sends Io to the ground and tries to go off the rope into a senton, but once again, it does not work. Io kicks her in the midsection. She pulls off oh my god. She pulls off a backbreaker to Candice. And then Candice German suplexes Io. Oh, Io German suplexes Candice, and then Candice does a snap German suplex in response. Then a backstabber to Io. Still my favorite fucking move, by the way. I didn't get to note this on the first backstabber, but I still love this fucking move. Oh, yes.
Backstabber is a really nice looking move.
That's realistically, when you think about it, I don't know how much that could possibly hurt. But when you watch it, you're like, ooh, spicy. But that's actually, there's another move that we've seen a couple times that's coming up that always makes my like teeth just clench. So she does the backstabber on Io. I fuck up one of my Stark glitters. And then ignore that. She moonsaults off the middle rope. Io then transitions into a crossface on Candice, but Candice, unfortunately, is a small woman, and she's quite far away from the ropes. She tries to roll Io up, but in the process, Io kicks out. Then I had to find out where I was. Candice has the crossface on Io, and then once again, not a great position, but Io kind of finally maneuvers her body to the side. She was in the crossface for like a hot second. I was like, she's gonna tap. She fucking tap. Candice accidentally then smacks the ref in the face with her fucking arm. This helps Io with the air raid crash. She goes off the top rope for a moonsault, but Candice gets her knees up, and Io, as if the ref hadn't had enough to deal with tonight, Io barrels the ref over as Candice sends her knees into Io's midsection.
Hell yeah.
Candice then connects the stepsister and pins Io, but there's no ref because the ref has been absolutely brutalized by Io. And it makes you wonder, who needs a fucking ref when you get Johnny fucking Gargano?
Oh,
God. When this shit happened in the first place, like when this shit first happened with Bailey and Sasha.
When
this first happened with Bailey and Sasha, I was like, that's not how you win a fucking match. And then it happened with Johnny and Candice, and I was like, I don't see anything. I don't see shit. I don't see a goddamn thing. You know what I see? A supportive relationship. So Johnny comes out. He has a ref shirt on. We're ready. It's Extreme Rules all over again. Had to think back to which one Bailey interfered in. Unfortunately, Johnny doesn't actually help. Io still kicks out in spite of the fact that Johnny's counting. I guess Johnny just cannot count fast enough. So instead, he gets down, he gets the belt, brings it over to Candice, and the ref is awake. The ref gets in the ring and he's like, hey, Johnny, what the fuck are you doing? Get that shirt off. He hands the belt off to Candice. Candice waits for the right moment while Johnny distracts the whole fucking time.
Well, first he holds it behind his back and then just slides it over to Candice. Very, very well done. Very well orchestrated.
It was so perfect.
But first, the ref says, you're wearing my shirt. It's like, sir, no, you're wearing your shirt.
So Candice then hits Io with the belt, covers, she still kicks out. Johnny Gargano drops the hardest fucking F-bomb I have ever seen.
I didn't catch it.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, it's because he wasn't super mic'd up, but I saw the.
Oh,
I was like,
I can't believe I didn't catch that.
You did not hear me say, Johnny, you're gonna get fined.
I thought it was just because he was wearing a ref shirt.
No, it's because Io kicked out. He was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, Johnny, don't do that.
Also, I'm gonna have to take a pee break. Too.
Riff, you're gonna have to wait.
Okay.
I go first. I get first dibsies.
In between this fight and the next promo, which is the night vision vignette.
We can take our little intermission. We can take a quick intermission.
Okay.
You can riff. I'll riff. I don't care. Because I've got 3 notes left. So both ladies go up to the top rope. There's a Spanish fly, and then an over the moonsault to LeRae to win. The Spanish fly is the move that always makes me just like, makes me so stressed.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's our bathroom door that just closed. Guess we're gonna have to wait a little longer. So, you wanna continue on?
Yeah. I think that's something that we can talk about because I don't want to get into the Kyle Finn fight until I can go to the bathroom.
Well, we've got 2 promos to do.
Okay, cool. Right. So the over the moonsault to LeRae to win, and then we thought the mystery lady was revealed.
Can I talk about this part?
Yeah, that was my segue.
So, after the fight's over, a person appears on the screen. And, prior to this, we saw a lady in the crowd who had silver hair, and was kind of dressed like no?
That was not her, by the way. I don't know who the fuck that was. It's not her.
Do you want to take the intermission now?
Why don't we get through this one, and then we'll actually reveal the cyber later.
Okay. So, appearing on the television screen, the Jumbotron, is a woman with silver hair. Turns out it's Toni Storm. Toni Storm is fucking back. She is big in NXT. I don't remember when she left. I think it was the beginning of the pandemic, maybe. Big part of women's wrestling in NXT. And she's back along with somebody else who we will reveal after our little intermission. That's your cue. And now, during this intermission, we shall move into one of my favorite segments of the show, which we barely get to move into, which is Mark's Power Rankings. I have ranked every single wrestler that has ever appeared in WWE this year. I have gone through every single match that's ever happened this year, aside from NXT UK. And so let me just give our current top 10 wrestlers of the year so far. Top 10 WWE wrestlers across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, number 10, we've got, shockingly, with the least amount of matches this year in the top 10, Sami Zayn. Number 9, Matt Riddle. Number 8, Cesaro. Number 7, NXT's only representation in the top 10, Io Shirai. Number 5, or number 6, 9, 8, 7, 6, Roman fucking Reigns. Number 5, Angelo Dawkins. Number 4, Montez Ford. So that's both Street Profits together in the top 10. Number 3, Mr. Limitless Keith Lee. Number 2, Bayley, the role model. And number 1, Mr. Drew McIntyre. I went through the top 10 wrestlers in the power rankings this year. Shockingly, with only 6 matches, Sami Zayn is in the top 10.
What?
It's primarily because all of his matches have been either winning a title or defending a title. His only loss has been the only one that hasn't been a title match. Alright, so I'm going to go on my pee break. You quickly riff, and then we'll be right back with our mystery woman.
Alright. Watch him try to get out of the seat for a second there. I never have to riff, so I never know what to say. I do. What do I want to talk about? I guess I can just say some nice things. I just want to thank. Hey, where are my cats now? Here. I want to thank everyone who's been watching thus far. I know that this is one of our longer podcasts because we have been sidetracked multiple times. We aren't normally sidetracked this much, and I don't kind of mind it tonight, even though it's 11:40. I've got to go to work tomorrow, or wake up and do work tomorrow. But yeah, if you've been watching for however long, honestly, if you've been watching it all tonight, thank you. It's always nice to have other people around. as much as I'm thanking you all, I can't see anything that's happening in the chat up until we do our best of the night because I don't put my glasses on. I don't know why. I probably would benefit from it too. But my glasses actually reflect the glare of my laptop, and then I look weird. So I don't do it. But thank you if you've been watching this long. And thank you for putting up with our pee breaks. Normally, okay. Can you not bite me? Yeah, it tastes weird, doesn't it? It's the human hand. Normally, we don't have to take pee breaks. Usually I can hold it in, but now it's competitive. But yeah, and also thank you to anyone who's been watching us for a little while, and to newcomers. But it always means a lot to be able to hold on to people who watch this. And if you're watching this later on, thank you. I'm only good at riffing compliments, is really what I'm saying here. Mark's good because like he's got other shit, and he can also see because he's got contacts. I can't see, so I'm very much limited to the thoughts, and I don't have any good thoughts. But thank you if you've been watching for a while or if you've just started watching. And Mark's back, so I have to stop complimenting people.
What? What's going on? I heard
What's
my
up?
name mentioned.
I said Mark's back.
No, before that.
Oh.
You said I'm good at stuff. That's shocking.
Oh yeah, I said that you've got contacts in, so you can like riff on your surroundings. I'm blind right now, so I have to riff on the things that are in my head.
I'm glad that the compliment you gave me was having contacts, aka having poor vision.
Well, I have poor vision. I can't fucking see. Also the cap at my finger, so.
I heard you talking about the cat. I wasn't sure what happened.
I don't think it was intentional. I think she just tried to rub her face against my finger and then accidentally opened her mouth and bit me. It's always an accident.
Shall we get into the mystery woman that we've been leading up to this entire time?
If you don't already know.
So, up until now, for the past 2 weeks, we've had little vignettes of night vision. The first one was of this mystery person smashing open a glass case with a championship belt in it. And the next one was driving a motorcycle from, I think it was the Amway Center to the Performance Center, which a lot of people pointed out. And that person was revealed. We saw more night vision of them walking into the Performance Center, aka the Capitol Wrestling Center, walking to the ramp, facing Io with their gear, their helmet. They take it off, and it's fucking Ember Moon. Ember fucking Moon. I just want to say, I thought it was Paige. I did not think for a second that it was Bo Dallas. I was not convinced it was Bo Dallas at all. As soon as Robert Roode was on Raw, I knew it wasn't him. So I thought it was Paige or Ember Moon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was done talking.
Alright. I was going to say, if you watched past podcasts, you heard us debating who the hell this was, because we did it for a while. The list of names of who it could possibly be was incredibly long. And I kind of assumed it was a woman just based on like their body shape. And some people assumed it was Robert Roode because he was supposed to be coming back within like the next bite. I think within the span of time from Mark's first absence on the Raw podcast, which was, I think was 2 weeks ago now, or almost 3. Yeah, it was almost 3 weeks ago now. He was supposed to come back either 3 weeks ago or this coming Monday. So people were like, "Oh, you know, when the pay-per-view happened, people were like, oh, maybe that's who it is." But he came back to Raw. He didn't come back to NXT. So that was out of the question. And then you suggested Paige. I think a couple of people suggested Paige, and I was like, maybe. And then that seemed a little less likely.
Yeah, because I think the big thing was it was somebody who was previously a champion. So as far as men goes, it was either Bo Dallas or Robert Roode.
Right.
That person did not look like a Bo Dallas, for sure.
And to be fair, I think Ember Moon's back with like a slightly different gimmick. But the thing is it's like Ember Moon basically had an Xavier Woods injury where it was like, is she coming back? We aren't sure.
Which gives good hope to Xavier Woods.
But like that was the thing is that like I assumed, she's injured, it's not her. I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is, once again, another unconventional woman wrestler in NXT. I wait for Wednesday nights now. It used to be Mondays. Now Mondays, I'm like, it's never been Fridays, but now it's every Wednesday. I'm just like, yes. Because then also after Wednesday NXT, I know that it's Thursday and then it's almost Friday, and then I'm like,
the problem with Mondays is I think you disagree, but because it's 3 hours, they try so hard to fill all that time. Which, if it was 3 hours of all good content, fine. I'm fine with it being 3 hours. But it seems like recently they've been so desperate to fill that with schlock.
I'm in a weird place with Raw where it's like, I don't want it to be 2 hours. I really enjoy the fact that, I wish it weren't Mondays that this was happening, because, Monday it's like, I'm back from the weekend, I'm really tired because I have probably not been waking up at my normal working wake up time, so I'm exhausted. Our podcast usually takes us into 1 or 2 a.m. So the 3 hours is grating, but I do like that it's 3 hours because it's like there's more room for returns to promos, like there's like second parts of promos and shit like that, and it helps get more of a story. It's more story oriented than SmackDown is. I don't know what SmackDown is oriented towards, but it's something. Roman Reigns now. Yeah. But I used to like that it was 3 hours because it was like, 3 hours of a lot of good shit. And now that Raw is so fucking weird and just discordant, the 3 hours just feels.
I think the most egregious part of it is that they have these 3 hours. They have the ability to stuff it and move stuff along, but you still have storylines that take months and months to get across. Like, for example, the Rey Mysterio Seth Rollins storyline that started in, what was it, May? June? May, it was. Money in the Bank. And we're now 5 months in.
So, you grew up reading comics.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up reading fan fiction. That was just always something I was really into. I was a big fan of a lot of bands, so I used to read that all the time. And I used to write my own because I was a goddamn nerd, and if anyone ever wrote fan fiction growing up, I respect you. It's an art. It is writing. However, one thing I always fell into a lot when I was writing stuff like that, or even when I was just writing stories when I was younger, and I just didn't want to stop it, because I enjoyed the story, but it was getting like a little like haywire. My thing that I always did was I'd write and I'd write and I'd write, and then new things would happen with like whatever was inspiring me to write, or new things would happen that would like make me think like, oh, this would be a great chapter, and then I'd do that, and we would start in one place and we would end all the way out here in a different goddamn like continent,
right,
of like story. And that is what is happening with Raw right now, where it's like, we started with Seth being pissy about losing at Money in the Bank. We started there.
That's not where we started. We started with Rey congratulating Seth on having a kid.
Oh.
That's how this whole storyline started.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyways, so we started there. We are now in Seth's doing swell, I guess. And Buddy's DMing Ray's 19-year-old daughter. This is where we are. We were here, and now we're here. And I don't know how the fuck we got this far.
It's like 5 months in. 5 months. 5 months. it's been like, it's one thing if it's been 5 months of like progression, but a lot of it has been just the same fight over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Which the Roman J storyline is giving me hope because that seems to be moving on real fast. I mean, Jimmy came in exactly when we expected him to. And we kind of have an idea of when it's supposed to really reach its climax. You look like you want to say something.
I was just gonna say that, like, I originally was like saying, like, I don't care if I'm seeing the same fucking fight over and over again because, you know, Alistair versus Ray and or Alistair versus Ray, yeah. Alistair versus Seth, and like Alistair versus Buddy, and Alistair and Umberto versus Seth and Buddy. Those were good fights. Those were good fights. But now it's like Dominic's involved, Aaliyah's involved, Angie's probably gonna be involved sooner or fucking later. It's just
To what you're saying, it's one thing if it's the same fight over and over again, but I think in order to keep it interesting, and keep it to where it's fine having that same fight, is if every fight something changes, if there's progression.
And that's honestly that's why NXT is like such a fucking reprieve in the middle of the bullshit. Because Raw is just over and over and over again, and I just want to claw my goddamn eyes out. And SmackDown is bad. But NXT is just like that island in the middle where I'm like, oh, Cameron Grimes is fighting some random fucker? Sure. Why not? You know, Timothy Thatcher's mad at this guy today? All right. Why wouldn't he be? Every time. There's always something just a little different, a little off. And I'm like, I'm still interested. Thank you. And then they do Swerve and Santos, and I'm like,
That's their filler story.
and actually, honestly, at this point, if it's just that one, fine. Because they could have played Rhea and Io out for a while. They could have done that. They had every opportunity to.
They could have played.
And they didn't.
They could have played Finn versus Adam out for a while.
Even with the fucking Casey and Xia Li and Kaden and Xia Li thing that's happening right now, we've gotten two fights that are similar, but like at least they only last just so long. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't have to go into next Wednesday thinking I might see that. Because if I do, it's like whatever. It's gonna be like a 5-minute fight, and I'm just gonna mind my fucking business.
But I think we should move on. Yes.
One
One more
promo.
thing.
No, one more promo.
Oh right, yeah. I wrote an arrow.
Yeah, I didn't remember it when I scrolled.
So there was a little interview with Ashante the Adonis that I don't even remember what it was. Just like I think it was Ashante being like, "Yeah, I'm tough. I can fight. I can do these things." Which honestly would love to have you, Ashante, on NXT. Yeah. That
normally I kind of get like annoyed or get on your case when like you just say I don't remember what happened at this promo because I make you do the promos. But with this promo, Ashante was just saying shit. Just like, I'm here, I'm gonna fight, but like in several different ways, in several different metaphors, and I was like, what is going on? Buddy, did you have a couple extra cups of coffee today?
he's not used to pay-per-views.
But I think, you know what, it's an awesome energy, and they did a great job. If their idea is to push him to doing more NXT fights in addition to his 205 Live stuff, they did a great job promoting him in the first place with his dream match. So I'm definitely excited to see him because also he did get to show some of his personality even in the ring there, and he was kind of a catty little fucker, and I respected that. So I can't be bothered by that interview, even if I didn't understand a single word that came out of his fucking mouth, and even if I am 100% sure he's got to be either a Leo or a fucking Gemini because of the way he fucking talks. I think he'll be a good asset to NXT if they do end up bringing him in further. However, shall we? Shall we jump in
The
to whatever the hell happened here?
The main event today.
This was a fucking match. So, Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. Marcus chose Finn because Mark was sweat.
Sorry, there's some more breaking news about Finn and Kyle.
Mark!
Kyle.
Are they dead?
Kyle has several broken teeth.
Oh!
And
No!
Finn is being evaluated for potential facial fractures after the match today.
First, what the fuck is a broken tooth?
It's a tooth that's not out, but it's broken. Like, it's split.
Ugh. No. Would rather a mandible claw right now. No.
Perfect segue into this fight.
Okay, just give me like 5 seconds to get through this. I need like smelling salts. I'm gonna be like one of those ladies in 1800s novels that just die from shock.
Die from a broken heart.
No, because if Kyle's teeth are broken, maybe then he can't fucking abandon Undisputed Era.
How is that relevant?
I thought I was about to have my heart broken tonight, dude. I really did.
Well, you did in one way. And I can kind of... I read some comments that will spin it that way, but let's continue on. Liz, let's continue on, please. Por favor.
Will you tell me what the comments say?
Yes, once we get there, we will. I will tell you what they are.
Am I gonna be sad?
Maybe. You might just laugh. like I did when I read them.
Okay. Anyways. Alright, so Finn can't get a good hold on Kyle really at any point. There was a lot of grappling and it was a lot of very Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly grappling where, oh, by the way, I said Mark chose Finn. I chose Kyle because that was the hill I was dying on tonight.
This was
and the hill Mark was dying on was seeing Cameron Grimes on screen, and the moment he was like, well, Cameron Grimes was in that recap, and I just gave him the fucking death glare. I was like, nope. That's not gonna fly. I'm so sorry.
This is the only fight that we picked differently on.
Yes, the one fight. But yeah, the moment Mark was like, I bet that Cameron Grimes is gonna show up. Because you first said show up, and I was like, okay, show up. No, he's not. And that's why I said Kyle O'Reilly for this. That's when I felt confident, because I was like, I'm not gonna lose. One way or another, I'm not gonna lose. And I didn't. So. Anyways. So. I hate drinking seltzer, because then I have to, like, burp all the time. Very unladylike. So Finn can't get a good hold on Kyle at really any point. It's, again, like I was saying, it was a very typical Finn-Kyle match. Not that we've seen them fight a lot, but they're both very, like, frisky. They move a lot. And neither would really submit to any sort of hold for a while. Finn finally got a headlock on Kyle. He tries to power out. Finn takes him down. Then there's a belly-to-back suplex to Finn, but Kyle is still in a headlock. Kyle starts trying to break out. He tries to lift Finn, but Finn goes up and over. He goes for a submission hold, but Finn grabs the rope. There's a wrist lock into a shoulder lock on Finn. Finn tries to grab Kyle's leg, but Kyle's standing tight. He's not moving. He defends himself. Finn ends up kipping up. Kyle then takes Finn down by way of his shoulder. Sends some knees to his shoulder, elbows to the ribs of Finn, and then a running knee into Finn's neck. He gets an arm lock on Finn, and Finn reaches the rope again. They're still grappling. Finn sends his knees into Kyle's head. There's a wrist lock on Finn. He rolls Kyle over to his back, and that results in a dropkick. Finn then stomps Kyle's arm, pulls it between his legs, and starts mocking Kyle by playing it like an air guitar, and then stomps him.
That was that was heartless, but also amazing.
This was one of the best fights I think I've ever seen. And I'm going to stand by that opinion for the entire podcast, and probably for the rest of my fucking life.
I'll disagree, but this fight was amazing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I personally don't think that there's another better fight in the world, but either way. So there's a hammerlock on Kyle, who's just trying to break free. Finn sends some knees into Kyle's neck. Finn gets Kyle in the corner and just chops at him for a while also doing his weird little yipping thing that I... It's something I always forget that Finn does until Finn does it, and then I'm like, what is that noise coming out of your fucking mouth, my dude?
Like, his last fight, I think it was against Adam Cole, you could really hear it. You just heard every yip that comes out of his mouth. It's so funny.
Every time he's just like, yeah. I'm like, what?
You see, like,
One more time in the back.
Finn in the ring, like, how he presents himself in the ring is so much different from his actual personality, and what I imagine is how he is amongst his other colleagues. And his yips is just perfect. Goes along so perfectly with who he is. It's just, I love him so much.
It's always so funny to me when he comes out as like this like badass Prince Finn Balor, just like arrows and whatever. And then I go back to my head to like when I watched that video of him and Bayley building Legos together, and I was like,
remember his birthday party?
Oh, his birthday party where he and his girlfriend did glow in the dark painting
and balloons, and he wore an astronaut suit.
Oh, yeah, you're so scary. I love him.
He's so sweet. He's amazing.
He is the most precious specimen, and I think that plays really well for him because he acts such such a bastard in the ring, and then you see all this shit, like all this behind the scenes video and like all like his pictures of like his regular life where he's like the one where he was like sitting there with like the little kitten on his shoulder, and I was like, I don't know what to believe.
Remember that video of him being interviewed by his girlfriend?
Oh, you mean Drunk Finn?
Yeah, Drunk Finn.
Soccer game? Yeah.
He literally, he is the greatest smile in all the world.
Going back to fan fiction, I remember when I saw that video, I was like, I would have written that in. My dude's just drunk as shit, and he's like, everyone wants to know if I'm dating you. And they're right. And I was like, yeah, she's also beautiful. So I'm like, I don't need you to. Go off. Go somewhere else. Don't show me your fucking videos of you wrestling on the goddamn beach.
Also, I finished all 3.
I'm almost done with this. And I'll top you off with my number fucking 4. I scampered off and I got this one. Mostly because I just don't like not drinking.
Well, I have the whole box.
God damn it, no! But anyways, so Finn's yipping in the corner. Kyle finally gets a little bit of an upper hand. He sends some knees into the midsection of Finn. He catches Finn and then sends another knee into his chest. And then just kind of loses his shit for a little bit. He just kicks every aspect of Finn's torso for like a hot second in the middle of the ring. He takes Finn's legs out to kind of subdue the dude. And then he gets a double underhook slam suplex twice to Finn and a DDT, which didn't really look like a DDT, but we'll call it. It is. Sure.
It was
a little more like a face buster to me. But
it was
sure.
Weird that Vic called it a DDT.
I like if I'm watching a match, and usually my brain has like it's sort of like how a computer can only take so many commands at once before it's just like, nope, I don't know what you said to me. My brain fills up pretty quickly. So I'm like typing out like, okay, we got double underhook slam suplex twice, DDT. Wait, DDT? And like I'm watching the TV and I'm like, I know Vic just said that, but that definitely just looked like Kyle spun him out onto his face. But sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. But also a DDT sort of reminds me of like a balk in baseball, where it's just like, I can show you what it is, but I can't tell you what it is.
I mean, if you wanna think about it, like its origins. The creator of it, I forget what his name is. He said that the DDT was just made by him and the person he was holding just taking the wrong step and falling.
We at a party.
Huh?
I very vividly remember that this came to fruition because he was at a party fucking around with somebody.
I thought it was during a wrestling match. I remember the tweet he... Huh?
Jake the Snake.
Oh, yeah.
Jake the Snake Roberts. He created it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry. It's widely credited as a move that he created, but the earliest known practitioner of the move was Mexican wrestler Black Gordman, who frequently performed it in the 1970s because apparently they were wrestling back then too, which is crazy to me.
I mean, I would still credit towards Jake the Snake because, I mean, that's when it was trademarked as DDT.
It's named after his pet python, Damian.
Oh, I love it. Oh wait, no. What I heard it was I mean I don't know why I'm saying no. I don't know why I'm saying no. Yeah. The place where I heard it was made, it was named after DDT because that was a poison.
Right, it's named after dichlorodyphenol trichlorethene. Dichlorodyphenol trichlorethene.
Is that what he named his snake after?
No, he named his snake Damian, probably after Damian, the thing in the Bible.
Okay.
Isn't DDT? Well, I know that. I mean, DDT is also it's a pesticide. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's banned in like every fucking state in the entire goddamn United States.
It is
because it kills you.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. What happens when we use chemicals to help our crops? But that's just me. I didn't grow up in farm country or anything.
Shall we continue on with the fight?
Do you not want to talk about pesticides and farming?
Not on the wrestling podcast.
Oh god, look at my hair part. All right. Boy, oh boy. I'm getting a little backlashy here. I'm getting a little bit to backlash levels, which is crazy because I've eaten a ton of food and also not had that much to drink. But anyways, I will make sure that this is still postable to YouTube. Just reminds me of like all the times that like anybody like Milam has ever been like, "You guys stayed under 2 hours, good job," or like Mike, and I'm just like, I'm watching our time go up, and I'm like, oh no.
I think anyways, for pay-per-views we can go over.
So then there's a kick to Finn's knee, leaving him kind of leaning off to the side, which is usually a pretty common Finn Balor defense move. Finn's got Drew McIntyre syndrome where you kick his knee in once and he's just fucking out for a while. There's a hard kick to Kyle's midsection, which sends Kyle into the goddamn ether. And then Wade Barrett does not stop talking about the fact that if you're kicked in the liver, it can really take you out. And then they keep talking about how many times Kyle's been kicked in the liver. And I was like, I don't really think that he's been kicked in the liver, but thank you.
Oh, God.
Like sometimes like somebody will get kicked in the elbow and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I understand what you're talking about, him having maybe his elbow hurts now. But they just kept talking about Kyle's poor fucking liver, and I was like, very specific. Okay. So Kyle then goes chest first into the top buckle. So the reflexive nature of what happened here was basically you see Kyle thrown forward, sternum into the fucking buckle, and just
bounce back.
Oh. And I think we've talked about this once or twice before with the Kyle fight. sometimes he looks like he's like committing a little too hard to certain moves, and I'm nervous about it. I get like a little stressed.
He just sells really well. I think he's one of NXT's best sellers.
Right. I think that's probably why I'm always just like, oh, he's dead. Okay. But it does, like, I said this to you, it reminds me of like the kid in like middle school who had like a couple too many pieces of candy and is just fucking off the walls and like just throws himself around because like he doesn't fear death. And you're like, oh man, dude, calm down. But Kyle just took it like a goddamn champ, fell backwards. Finn pulls Kyle through between the middle and the top rope and just pulls him back against the ropes for a little while. He gets a face lock on Kyle and then a drop elbow into his spine. He pulls him into the abdominal stretch. But O'Reilly managed to hip toss Finn and free himself. He sends a big knee right into Finn and then a regal plex, which caused Wade Barrett to really marvel at the fact that Kyle got his arch so high during the regal plex. And frankly, Kyle looked amazing during this move. He looked really nice. But he also sent Finn down like right at the top of his neck. So for a second, I was like, the noggin, protect the noggin. Finn then slams Kyle into the canvas, gets a sling blade off on him. And then in a move that I really thought was really cool, I really liked how this looked, especially from the original camera angle that they showed it at. Finn does his like little thing where he kind of just like points and targets, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then Kyle, the moment Finn runs at him, Kyle drop kicks his knees. So basically, you got Finn running at a forward angle, Kyle drop kicking at a downward angle. The original camera shot for this, they showed it in a replay. It didn't look as cool. But the original camera shot just shows like this diagonal impact. Looked so fucking cool. Just insanely goddamn cool. And then there was another kick to Finn's knee. An abdominal stretch on Kai. I did it again. An abdominal stretch on Kyle. And it looks like Finn's kind of going for the 1916, but then there's a bit of a drop knee, and Kyle's freed himself with that drop knee, but this was when we realized Kyle's bleeding all over the fucking place. His mouth is full of blood now. Never a good sign. There's a sharpshooter to Kyle, which is basically just a more or less a double leg submission. Kyle's basically, imagine a wheelbarrow, but like a submission lock. And Kyle's just shaking his head around like, I'm not tapping. But then that makes him get blood all over his face. So he looks like the fucking Joker.
He had blood. It just went up like a smile. It looked like it was painted on.
Shit. It looked, in that moment, up until you told me all this news that's coming out, in that moment I was like, it's fake. This has to be fake. This is just because they've been painting Kyle as like this like guy who's been working really hard. And not that I'm doubting that, but they wanted to make this match look brutal and rough and dirty. And they did it. So I thought it was fake. There was that little cynic in the back of my head, the little WWE cynic that was like, not real blood.
And I told you the injuries?
Hmm?
And then I told you the injuries?
Yeah, and then I said, okay, sure. Anyways. Finn's then just kind of Kyle grabs the rope and he's crawling along the like right at the edge of the rope, right along the apron, more or less. He's just crawling along there while Finn kicks him and talks shit at him for a while. And Kyle's just bleeding from the mouth, just aimlessly trying to drag himself to a corner. And it was horrible, but like in retrospect, like now that he's alive, it's funny, I guess. I don't know. But Finn's just talking shit. Sends a foot to Kyle's neck, and Kyle catches him. Powers kind of up and out, kicks Finn, and then there's a Pele kick to Kyle, and then a lariat to Finn, and they're both just laying in the fucking middle of the ring. They're both laying in the middle of the ring, dead. And I get a feeling that they were trying to set up for like, hey, the power balance in Undisputed Era is a little weird. You might expect that something's going to happen in the middle of this fight to really upset that balance, because they had a lot of shots of from the back of the ring up to the ramp. They had a lot of shots like that, and I felt almost like they were just like expecting me to be waiting for Bobby and Roddy to come out. That's how it felt the whole time. And maybe I was just being crazy because I was very stressed out for this whole match.
And I also said Q Undisputed Era.
Right, because every time Kyle lost like the upper hand, and they did that same shot where it was like, we've got the ring, we've got like the view of all the way to that back fucking top of the ramp. I was like, oh my god, no, they're gonna come out and they're gonna ruin everything, and it's gonna be horrible. Kyle finally gets up. He's slow. He kicks Finn around a little bit. He tries to get Finn down a couple notches, I guess. But Finn kind of catches him, slaps him. He's going for the 1916 again, but Kyle gets him into the guillotine, which is basically a headlock. And Finn pretty much just passes the fuck out, and right at like the last breath that I think Finn's about to take, Kyle just lets go and walks away. And delivers a knee to Finn and a brainbuster. And covers, but Finn kicks out. Kyle transitions immediately into the armbar. Finn connects the 1916 and tries to go for the coup de grace, but Kyle kicks him in the face, pulls off two separate dragon screws on the top rope, or once on the top rope and once from the ground onto Finn, and then jumps off the ropes, knee first into Finn's chest, as Finn dangles on the second rope. Kyle goes off the top rope again, gets back up there. He knees Finn in the back of the knee, and then gets a leg bar on Finn, transitioning into another submission hold. And Finn tries to kick Kyle, but then Kyle grabs both of his legs, and it seems really like Kyle's about to win. Finn manages to somehow fucking grab the rope. I went into cardiac arrest around this point.
I legit held my breath that entire time.
All of a sudden, so we had Chinese food tonight, and that doesn't usually hurt my heartburn or anything. It doesn't really aggravate that. And sometimes, like, there's a medication that I can take for my headaches. I didn't take that today, and that usually makes my chest hurt. I'd done nothing today to make my chest hurt at all. And I was sitting there, I was like, and I felt like my heart, like, doing, like, the little, like, lub-dub, like, and I was like, I can't be this stressed out about a wrestling match. This isn't healthy. But I was. I also have a very fucked up immune system, so that could also help. But I just felt myself sitting there and I felt my chest like burning, and I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? Body? No. This is not how we go out. Although I'd be fine with it. Kyle kicks Finn again. And I'm just losing at this point, because at this point, either Kyle loses, Finn loses, or Undisputed Era comes out and breaks up the whole fucking party, including the Undisputed Era party. So I was like, I'm gonna be upset no matter what happens here. Finn then dodges Kyle and slams him down before stomping his chest. He's targeting him again. Kyle sends another set of knees to Finn's chest. German suplexes him, and then Finn pulls off the double foot stomp. And finally, it's the coup de grace to retain.
I have a little bit of breaking news. There's an update on... It's not related to NXT at all. That's why I wanted to wait until we were done with the match.
We're almost done with the match, but we're done with the fighting aspect.
There's an update on Royal Rumble. um, regarding a certain person, regarding Edge. He said, because apparently the way it was supposed to work with the storyline was he was supposed to appear at Royal Rumble, win, and then take on Randy Orton for the title. He said his recovery and from his surgery is taking longer than expected. His appearance at WrestleMania should still fit the timeline, but it seems like WrestleMania or Royal Rumble might not make the cut anymore.
You know what I smell?
Hmm.
I don't know what I smell, actually. Sorry. I kind of got carried away with that.
Okay.
I thought of something, but I didn't. I mean, realistically, all they have to do here is make another title appealing so that when the person, well, what I'm saying is when the person who wins Royal Rumble wins Royal Rumble, then they either here's the thing, either make it so Drew wins Royal Rumble and then challenges whoever the fuck he wants. Because at the end of the day, if here's this.
Mm-hmm.
Drew wins, because at this point I'm not seeing an obvious out unless like they make him lose the title at Hell in a Cell or TLC, whatever is coming out. Either they make him lose it in one of those, and then Randy wins the title. Royal Rumble, Randy's like, "Hey Edge, I know you're out there. I'll wait." And then at WrestleMania, it's obviously going to happen. It'll be announced at like a Raw a couple weeks prior. No big deal. Or Drew wins and then says the same fucking thing. One way or another, Edge doesn't have to be at Royal Rumble. Someone just has to challenge him.
I've got another scenario. The Rock wins Royal Rumble and goes after the Universal title. Or John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, goes after the Universal title. Or The Fiend wins Royal Rumble and goes after the Universal title.
There's a lot of options. I don't think Edge needs to be at Royal Rumble to reasonably show up at WrestleMania, whether it's for the championship or not. Can we discuss what happened after this match?
Yes. So I can get to the comments that I read. That might change things up a little bit as far as perspective. But let's... do you want me to get into it? Well, shall we count this as my thing?
No, I'm going to get into it so you can read me the comments quicker.
Okay.
I feel like because you know I'm waiting, you're going to just take time. I think I know exactly what's going to happen here. No! Oh my god.
I didn't say anything.
Oh. I know, but I'm reading your mind. I know exactly what you're going to say to me. Anyways. So, Finn's a super sweetie. Oh, sorry. I forgot something here. Finn goes for that coup de grace. And once he retains, you realize, oh my god, he's spitting blood out of his mouth. Like a lot of blood. And I said, oh, okay. So the whole point of TakeOver this past evening has been anything you can do, I can do better. So Finn's just proving that, I guess, with like biting a hole through his fucking tongue or something. And it's a lot of blood. It's not just like a little dribble of blood. It's like he's spitting like a lot of blood out. So I thought it was a blood pack or something like that. Because it looked fake. Again, it looked fake. But in spite of that, you know, Kyle looks like he's just not fucking in this time zone anymore. Finn goes up, helps him up, and is just like, hey, good job, you know. I might be an asshole in every promo I've done with you, but like, good job. And that's nice. And then they put the little watermark at the bottom, and I'm like, yes, we're out of this. We're out of this without any Undisputed Era bullshit. Vibes. No. Instead, we look up, there's Ridge Holland, who immediately, for some reason, I thought it was Dexter Lumis. I don't know why. My brain just said Dexter Lumis, and my eyes saw the same.
A lot of people thought it was too.
I don't know why. He doesn't even have the same fucking color hair, but my brain was just like, that's Dexter Lumis. And I was like, no, it's not. Why would we say that? That doesn't look like him. And he's got Adam Cole dead over his shoulder. He just unloads him over the barricade, and then Bobby and Roddy come in, and they're like questioning both Kyle and Finn, like, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened? What happened here? Why is he so dead? Blah, blah, blah. And like, Roddy's freaking out. He's like, you gotta call the ambulance or some shit. And it's a mess. It's a fucking mess. Those two men are not supposed to be in charge of an emergency situation ever. Please. For the sake of all of us. And they also ask Finn, who, mind you, apparently has like a just fucked up face now. They're like, did you see what happened? And Finn's like, I just
that was so funny. That was so funny.
Now they know that they're both like actually genuinely injured, and the blood from their mouths was real. Just the idea of Roddy and Bobby being like, did you see? And they're just like, I'm in crippling pain at this hour. No, I didn't see.
So did you mention who was carrying Adam?
Yeah, Rich, we went through a whole conversation about us thinking it was Dexter.
I wasn't sure you said the actual name of the guy. But yeah, so I saw comments saying that it seems like Bobby and Roddy might have been the ones to attack Adam with Ridge. And their whole, like, poorly acted questioning, like, what happened? Did you see it? Was just an act. And then they
make any sense.
I mean, it gives reason to why they were acting so poorly.
Yeah, but also consider the fact that Roddy got into the ring with Dexter Lumis and then immediately got out and ran away. So if we could just run back to those moments real quick.
I mean, Roddy also fought Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed. I mean, he's fought people. He fights. He can fight Adam Cole with Bobby and Ridge.
Right, but what benefit do they have to attacking Adam?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out on the next episode, but it just seems weird that Ridge attacked Adam. And the fact that Ridge put him down and then Roddy and Bobby came in and were like, who did this? Where is he?
I don't see that.
I mean, I don't see it either. I just think it's a really funny perspective and just like...
I was just going to say, I think that the idea of expecting Roddy and Bobby to act out a promo without being effusive is hilarious. That alone is kind of funny to me. Because, again, going back to the Roddy Dexter Lumis times that we had, those fun times that I wish had lasted much longer than they did, quite frankly, that's about what I expect out of Roddy. That's pretty much where I expect Roddy to be at all times, just like, oh my god!
Also, I just want to say Candice tweeted, always the Padawan, never the Jedi. And I'm in love.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, while it's confusing as to why Ridge would attack Adam when his fights have been with Johnny and who was it, Cameron?
Yeah.
He's just attacking other people at this point, it seems like. It doesn't seem like it's like, hang on. Mm-hmm. My thing is more so, Ridge is just attacking people. He fought Johnny for a while, for a couple episodes, maybe like one. And then he fought Cameron Grimes for no good reason. And then he fought Adam Cole, who has not actually made his full babyface turn yet, so it would make sense that he's attacking Johnny, Cameron, people who have held titles, or almost held titles. It makes just as little sense for him to attack, or it makes more sense, I think, for him to attack Adam, the member of the biggest faction in NXT, than it does for Roddy and Bobby to attack Adam. You know?
I guarantee everything's going to tie back to the fight between Adam and Austin Theory. I guarantee it.
Oh.
It's that fight's gonna like affect the perspectives of Roddy and Bobby or Ridge, or it's somehow gonna tie into that, because that feels like such an outlier that had to have been done for a reason. And knowing NXT, every fight is done for a reason.
Right. I can give you a reason right now. And this is exactly what I'm thinking. I think the reason is that Kyle just lost to Finn. NXT is pretty simple in that, I don't think Kyle's going back to fight Finn, next Wednesday. I don't see that happening. So after that, Adam doesn't have a title shot right now. Kyle kind of just used his up in a very respectable fashion. Roddy and Bobby haven't really had anything going on. Who is there left? Ridge doesn't have anything going on. Ridge is fighting just random ass people.
Bronson.
I think it just makes sense that they would introduce Ridge as a foe, because Dexter has nothing to do with Roddy anymore. I think it makes sense that they would introduce Ridge as a foe to the Undisputed Era, just to give them something to do in the meantime until something new comes up.
I mean, they could have used Imperium.
Yeah, but Imperium's more important, or more interested in Breezango right now, because they've got the titles. Why would they be interested in Undisputed Era? They don't. They're at the same point that Imperium's at.
True. But
I think that they don't have anything for Bridge to do, and I don't think that they have anything for Undisputed Era to do right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I don't think that they're ready to break them up yet.
But with all that said, shall we move on to the bests of the night?
We've been here for 40 years, yeah.
3 hours, actually.
Oh my god, I'm so tired.
So, we're going to start with our promo of the night, which is only 2.
Go for it.
Alright, so, promo of the night. We had the Ashante interview, and then we had the Night Vision vignette, finally revealing the mystery woman to be Ember Moon. And obviously it's going to be that. Ember Moon coming back is so exciting. And it's a great payoff for a potentially disappointing promo series. So, I gotta say that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you. I don't know what else there is to side with.
Okay, so the fastest promo of the night that we've ever come to.
It helps when there's 2.
Now, fighter of the night. So, I'm going to start off with Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano. I think Johnny was the best here. I'm seeing Damian in the same way I'm seeing EO today, in that they were here to just defend the title. That was it. That's the only part they played. They both did it very well, but that seems like that was their only personality today, was defend the title. Johnny was there to survive, take the title, to be this person that he's been this entire time. And Johnny at the same time pulled off amazing moves. He's always an incredible person in the ring, an amazing fighter. I don't think we got the same Johnny that we got with Roddy or Swerve. I think this is a middle ground between that Johnny and the Keith Lee Johnny, where he is fighting a bigger opponent, so he has to resort to dirtier tactics. But we also got the amazing wrestler Johnny. And I think whenever you pit Johnny against a bigger wrestler, he never wins. However, he resorts to dirtier tactics, a la Keith Lee. Now, if we move on to 4 question marks versus Kushida, Kushida absolutely looked amazing. He looked on top of his game today, and my God, did he look fantastic. Not only was he pulling off amazing moves, but he looked like he was hungry today. He wanted death for 4 question marks. Kushida was out for blood, and that was obvious. The only thing that turns me off about Kushida's performance today was that no sell at the end. I know. But
Really?
you can have that fighting spirit and still sell a move. The fact that he took that Dream Valley driver and just immediately got back up, got the pin. He could have at least just drawn it out a couple more seconds, kind of just react a little bit. And I mean,
that's ferocity.
I mean, you can, like I said, you can have that ferocity, you can have that fighting spirit, but still react to moves. I think, as I showed you in a video earlier, Kyle is the best example of that. Kyle's known for his ridiculous way of selling moves, whether it be absolutely just out there sells or incredibly realistic to the point where you think he's dying sells. I think if Kushida just sold that move, he would have moved up a lot more. But any other episode, any regular episode, I would have picked Kushida. Hands down. And then we move on to Swerve versus Santos. I think Swerve was the best here. Santos is also great. But I don't think anyone was really at the top of their game today. I don't know. It's rough with this fight. I think Swerve was the best. I think he performed amazingly today. Definitely nowhere near how he performed against Johnny at, what was it? Was it Takeover? Oh no, it was Great American Bash where he fought Johnny. Yeah, Swerve was awesome. He pulled off amazing moves. But I don't think he had that extra little flair, that little extra bit to really push him to the next level. He didn't seem hungry. He didn't seem like he really was in that headspace. And then we had Candice versus Io. I picked Candice here. Candice and Johnny are both in the same ballpark where they do wrestle fantastically in the ring. Although Candice doesn't wrestle the best out of the women's division. I think Johnny performs the best out of the men's division. Candice has that extra layer to her that I think Io didn't show today. I know she has it. We've seen it from her before. Candice, although, really brought it today. But I don't think she performed well enough to really be considered right now, which is unfortunate because I love Candice so much. Again, any other regular episode, I would pick her without a doubt. But then we have the main event today. Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. And Finn was fantastic. Finn was off the walls today. But my pick for this fight's Kyle. Kyle, like Kushida, was out for blood. Kyle was hungry. Kyle was there not only for blood, but to survive. You saw it in his eyes. You saw it when he was selling. He wanted to live. He wanted the title more than anything in the world. He was willing to sacrifice his body and mind for this. Given how much he was bleeding, given how much he was suffering from this, and you saw he tried to back himself away at several points. He allowed himself to kind of recover. Finn did the same too, but I think Kyle, you saw that passion in his eyes a lot more than Finn. And I think you saw that passion a lot more than anybody today. Even more than Kushida, who, although he wanted blood, he just wanted the blood of 4 question marks. Which isn't very nutritious blood anyway. Kyle just not only had that passion, had that fire to him, his wrestling was unbelievable. I mean, there's not much I can say that really does it more justice than just watching him yourself. That's all I can really say. Kyle was the absolute best. He was on top of the world, and so I need to give him the fighter of the night.
Whee!
Just kidding. Goes to Damian Priest.
God!
No, Kyle O'Reilly is the absolute best today. There was nobody better than him.
I just want to point out that you really missed an opportunity to say that Finn was fantastic. But anyways,
Thanks for watching the podcast, everybody.
no, I totally agree. I would not pick another person. I could not pick another person. I knew exactly who I was picking. Ooh, okay.
You're doing great.
Those words right. I knew exactly who I was picking basically the moment the fight was over. I was worried. I was really worried going into this fight that they were going to have something along the lines of like Kyle looking really tired and Undisputed Era coming out and ruining it all, leaving kind of an unrequited match. But you know, I knew Kyle was good. I knew Finn was good. The just thirst that Kyle had going into this match. I think one thing that really draws me into a lot of wrestlers like Drew McIntyre, like we've been seeing with Jey Uso, is that hunger to prove themselves. And I was getting kind of annoyed actually with the promos that they've been doing for Kyle, because I was like, I really don't think Kyle's going to win. How dare you show me this promo where it's like, this is his life. This is everything he's ever worked for. How dare you show me something that like tells me this is everything to him, and we're still not going to give it to him because of like how things are supposed to work. It was like, that made me really upset because I wanted to see him come away with the title tonight. It's rare that I say this because I'm very much a if you're not first, you're last kind of person. There is absolutely no reason that Kyle should walk away from the fight tonight not thinking that he earned that belt.
Yeah.
I think there was only maybe, I think if you were to weigh it all out, Finn had 0.1% over Kyle, and that was it. outside of that, this was pound for pound the most equal fight I could imagine, and Kyle looked so goddamn good, and it made every single one of those promos where they were saying shit like, my dude was fighting every other weekend for $5. It made it worth it.
Yeah.
And you could tell that he was hungry for this. He wanted this. And my fucking God, dude, any other situation, he would have gotten that belt. I have no doubt in my head. It made me proud to have ridden that fucking hill so goddamn high, because I kind of knew what I was getting myself into, but then the moment that, like, I saw how this whole fight played out, I was like, it's fine. I'll drink to it. I don't give a shit.
So, with Kyle O'Reilly as our fighter of the night, we move on to our fight of the night.
Oh, yes, we do.
Now, I want to start this off by saying no fight was perfect today. There was no perfect fight. And I'll get to it.
Both okay.
So we started off with Damian Priest versus Johnny. A fight that went on a little bit too long. That's the flaw with this fight. Damian and Johnny both looked fantastic. I love how Damian's been coming off ever since winning the title. Fighting Timothy Thatcher was absolutely the best thing that's ever happened to him in his career. And his fighting style, he's absolutely evolved since then. And I love it. And Johnny absolutely is my favorite wrestler in NXT right now, for good reason. He's an incredible wrestler, an incredible character. I just think that he should have brought the same self that he went in to fight Roddy and fight Swerve, rather than the same self that he went to fight Keith Lee. We needed the NXT champion Johnny to come out for this to be an amazing fight. Although it was a great fight, every fight today is main event material. But as far as comparing them to themselves, this fight just needed Johnny to be on that extra level. And the fight to be a little shorter. Just a little bit. And then we move on to 4 question marks versus Kushida. A really great fight. This fight was fantastic. But like you mentioned, Dream is not like the Kramer character. Although he sells really well, he's not somebody to fumble about and just hurl shit across the ring. That's not him. That's not how he's been. Kushida was fantastic, and the ending to this fight was great. Sorry. The ending to the fight was great. I think we needed to see a little more from Dream for this to have been a really, even match fight, as far as regular fight standards go. I do think that this is one of the best fights tonight. And I would have also liked to see Dream not dressed as Doc Brown, but it is what it is. I would have liked, if he was in like his 3-eye sunglasses, like his normal thing, rather than Doc Brown, but it is what it is. And then after that, we had Swerve versus Santos, a fight that should have been the best tonight. Swerve is an amazing wrestler. Santos is an amazing wrestler. But I think they put all of their eggs into one basket early on. Started off with the most exciting moves. Started off with the highest flying techniques. And then from there, they could only go downward. It is a great fight, nonetheless. But they started off too high too early. And then Candice versus Io, a fight with perfect beats, perfect pacing. This fight had really everything going for it. Johnny coming in and taking over as the ref. really, and I think I know why you like this better than the Bailey situation, because that was the end of the fight. That was the end of the Bailey Sasha Asuka fight. This wasn't the end of the Io Candice fight. Johnny came in, tried to count to 3. Io still kicked out. The ref came in, and then the fight ended like a normal fight would. Meanwhile, when Bailey did it, that was the end. Bailey counted out, and that was it. Yeah, I think this fight had really everything going for it. I would have liked to see a little more from Io. Again, it's the whole Damian Priest thing. I think they're kind of on the same level in terms of showing off their character while also giving an amazing performance. But it is what it is. Like I said with Kushida and Dream. And then lastly, move on to Kyle and Finn. A really amazing fight that really just had me holding my breath the entire time. Both these incredible competitors are absolutely amazing in the ring. Like, the best that NXT has to offer. My one gripe with it, the ending was so anticlimactic, but not on the part of Finn or Kyle. Vic and Wade and Beth did not do a good job at hyping up that last coup de grace.
Can I really quickly make a comment here, actually?
Uh-huh.
It's 100% in line with what you're saying. They were fucked up tonight. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if there was connection issues or something with like how they were viewing things. But and this goes to what I was saying earlier, where or not earlier, but like when we were watching it, where it was not Beth sitting next to Vic. I didn't even know if it was Stu or Wade, because
it wasn't.
Wade normally has facial hair. This guy next to him did not. He looked a lot like Wade Barrett, though. He said it was him, so whatever.
I checked the pro wrestling fandom page after we started the podcast. That was the man sitting next to Vic was their Spanish commentator. I don't know who the woman was.
So this goes to what I was saying earlier when we were watching it, which was I was very confused. Beth Phoenix posted on September 25th a video of her playing guitar. And that was the most recent like self-facing picture that she had posted on Twitter. And she had blonde hair. The woman sitting next to Vic had black roots with like Sasha Banks kind of like burgundy, like it faded into a burgundy. And I made the comment to you, oh, I don't think that that's Wade and Beth sitting next to him. I think that might be the head announcers for NXT in different languages, because it doesn't look like the guy who could be Wade Barrett is speaking at the same time that Wade Barrett is speaking with the same inflection that he's speaking at, because Wade's a pretty effusive speaker. So I made that comment. I get the feeling that Beth and Wade were watching from a different, obviously Vic's there in person.
Yeah.
I don't think that Beth and Wade were watching from that same vantage point, because Vic would make like someone would do something crazy in any of these fights. Someone would do something crazy, and Vic would be like, "Oh," and Beth would still be talking about some shit that had happened 5 seconds prior. Something was weird, and it made every single pivotal moment in every single fight just not right.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it like this.
It was bad. And normally I don't let commentating interfere with my experience of the match, because I've gotten used to Corey Graves. But
Corey Graves is good.
I don't give a shit about him. But that really threw me a lot, because I hear Vic screaming about something, and Beth's still talking about a move that happened a couple minutes ago. And I was like, is this the end? Am I not sure? And like Vic would have to kind of catch up almost and be like, and this just happened. And Beth would be like, yeah. I was like,
yeah. I think that really affected the ending to the Finn Kyle fight. Because Finn jumped off the turnbuckle, did the coup de grace, and there was like no reaction to it. And you would think, because these commentators know the beats of the fight, they know when it's going to end, they would be more hyped about it. But again, it has nothing to do with the competitors themselves, which made the last fight imperfect. It was purely the commentators. I don't know why they did the setup that they did. But regardless, it unfortunately wasn't a perfect fight. But the fight of the night tonight of NXT Takeover 31, in my opinion, goes to, drumroll please, Ashante the Adonis versus Raul Mendoza.
What?
No, it was Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor.
You know I'm not gonna fucking disagree with that shit. This was the exact response to all of the wrestling that we've watched recently, where I've been like, there's so much shit that I hate that's been happening with wrestling recently, especially now that like it kind of seems like Vince is like scrambling to keep up with AEW, and it doesn't benefit him because it's sort of like the same way where it's like, well, if you just tried, you'd probably do better than if you rush through the fucking assignment. This fight, in a weird way, I kind of feel like Triple H kind of screwed himself a little bit in that, like, if you had a fight like this on Wednesday, I don't think AEW could compare. But that said, I had a lot of preconceived notions for how this fight was going to go. I was really nervous about how they were going to treat it. I was really nervous about how they might value shock over skill. But this was a fight. This wasn't, not only was it like what I really like, where it's a lot of technical wrestling. I love technical wrestling more than I like performance or entertainment based. I love a good grappling match. And they did nothing I expected them to do, which was especially having Undisputed Era interfere midway or something. And I think that that's definitely something that Raw or SmackDown would have taken advantage of. I went into tonight, and I said this a couple times, I think, Friday and probably Wednesday. I was really excited for this match.
Me too.
And usually when I'm really excited for a match and I'm vocal about how excited I am, it turns out to be kind of disappointing, to say the absolute least. For example, when I was excited for SummerSlam, because I was like, I'm going to get a Claymore kick and an RKO, and then I got none of those things. I was really excited for this match. I was so excited. And I had every fucking right to be.
Mm-hmm.
This match was so good. I felt like a goddamn kid in a fucking candy shop watching this. Like, it was so hard for me to take notes too, because I was like typing and I'm watching because I just don't want to take my fucking eyes off the screen. It was so good. I believed everything that was happening, and not only did I get to see two guys who are just really fucking good at what they're doing, but I also got to see, like, when Finn helped Kyle up at the end, and I guess maybe this is like a wussy kind of shit for me, but like, it kind of just surpassed like the, oh, we're enemies and that's why we're fighting. It's like, no, we're both really good fucking wrestlers and that's why we're fighting.
Like, Finn acknowledged that Kyle was here for a reason.
Right. Like, Finn was like, yeah, you deserve this match. I mean, I won, but you deserve this.
And then top it off with that ending that kind of just makes you question, like, where the fuck are they gonna go with this?
Maybe I'm being simple. I think I know where they're going with this. I think I just know that like this is just an opening for a new storyline. And it was also assuming I'm right, because I've got the most basic vision of where this is headed. Assuming there's nothing like behind the scenes that's playing on. Because I don't know. Watching Bobby and Roddy act like that, I was like, it's Bobby and Roddy. I don't really know what else anyone would expect from them. This isn't ER. I'm so sorry, guys. But I just get a feeling that they're just headed into a feud with Ridge. And frankly, I enjoyed this version of an intro into a new storyline more than I would have on Wednesday, where it's like, oh, Adam just shows up dead in like the fucking locker room as Ridge is like walking out or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a Raw move, whereas like NXT was just like, and this is what you have coming up this coming Wednesday. Like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
because it's like this is something to walk away with. It's not just something that's like, okay, it's like, oh, this is our next steps moving forward.
And I was just going to say that my reason for believing that this is just like a new entry into a storyline, because, you know, Adam's a singles guy, Ridge is a singles guy, and this kind of basically directly pits them against each other.
Yeah.
And then tangentially pits Roddy, Bobby, and Kyle against him. I just think that it kind of makes sense that they would go this way, and it feels less like an afterthought, and it just shows, again, because I kind of thought that they were expecting everyone to be like, oh, they're gonna, like, Undisputed is gonna do something stupid to piss off Kyle midway through this match. I think if I'm right, and I'm fucking hoping I'm right, this is just them being like, someone attacked a member of Undisputed Era. You guys can deal with it how you want to. Like, obviously, Bobby and Roddy were like, we're gonna kill someone. And Kyle was like,
He's like, I'm dead.
Kyle's like, my teeth are broken. Not chipped, broke. But I'm hoping that this is just a smart way to lead us into a new and almost kind of classic Undisputed Era feud.
Yeah.
With Kyle. With Adam facing somebody, and if need be, a little interference. And I'm hoping for that, because I really don't want to see them break up. I don't think that it's a wise choice right now, unless somebody's meant to go up in the draft. I don't really think it's a wise choice to break Undisputed Era up, only because, and no offense to Breezango or Legado or Imperium, the NXT tag team scene isn't very stunning right now. It's a little messy. I think that having this 4-man faction to take over anything that they want to whenever they want to, and now that Kyle's proven that he's super fucking powerful, it would be kind of silly for them to break up. But also, it's WWE, so it might be silly and they might still do it.
But we'll talk about that more on Wednesday with our next NXT episode. But for now, you can catch us tomorrow night on Raw. But to run us back, our promo of the night is Ember Moon is back. Our fighter of the night is Kyle O'Reilly. And our fight of the night is Kyle O'Reilly versus the NXT champion still, Finn Balor. And Liz, would you like to close us out?
Yeah. Hey, I'm really I'm sure too, because you've been watching the podcast the whole time. If you haven't been watching the podcast the whole time, it's fair. It's totally fair. But if you have, thank you so much. And if you tuned in halfway through, thank you so much. If you watched at least like even 5 seconds of this, thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Please join us tomorrow night while we try to get through all of Raw. Oh my god, it's just so goddamn long. But we'll try. And I won't be reapplying my little glitter stars every 5 seconds in case anybody saw me do that. I'm sure you did. I'm probably not that smooth. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Whether it's for the whole episode, for part of the episode, for 5 seconds of the episode, or later in the evening, the year, the week, month, life. In case you stumble on this in like 2025. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed you're having a better time than we all are. Cheers, brother.
Thank you all for watching. Again, check us out tomorrow night after Raw at about 11 o'clock, 11:15. If you enjoyed, hit that follow button below. You'll be notified whenever we go live. Follow us on Twitter as well, at the Pinfall Cast. Again, you'll be notified whenever we go live, as well as see our picks for Fighter and Fight of the Night every single podcast, in case you miss it and still want to know what happens. And also, if you missed part of this podcast or one of the previous podcasts, and you want to check it out, catch up on some wrestling goodness, check us out on YouTube with the Pinfall Podcast. Our profile picture is still different from what it is on here. And follow our individual Twitters as well. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And that's about it. We hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been another great NXT Takeover. We are both very drunk. And I have to pee real bad. And we'll see you all tomorrow night. Goodbye.